Ah, greetings, B-movie aficionados.
All right. Hello. Welcome to A Couple of Flicks. I am Tristan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Zach.
And today we shall be sharing our top 10 lists of 2021.
/ 2020.
Yeah, slash 2020.
I tried to do as many 2021 movies as I could, but
yeah,
just because of the pandemic stuff gets pushed back. And
yeah, COVID messed everything up. And so, yeah,
Just-
now nobody knows what came out in 2020 and 2021. So.
just the life timeline in general, too. I don't know what year we're even in now.
Yeah.
Feels like we're already in 2023.
Yeah. I mean, what did 2022 even happen yet? I mean,
Who knows?
yeah. But in the meantime, we're going to share what films we found noteworthy. So, do either you want to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to.
Oh,
All right.
and I guess
Yeah, I'll
just to
probably be
set-
rearranging even as you go along. So.
Yeah, that's fine. And just to sort of set the ground, like the basic ground things, you know, I'm sure some of us will probably choose some of the same movies, which is fine, you know. And these lists aren't final, you know, they never are. No list is ever final, let's be real. Even in the scientific community, the lists are never quite final. Yeah, we're just gonna kind of go play it by ear, and yeah.
Yeah,
And some of these might technically be 2020 releases here and there. Some of them might have come out in certain festivals, maybe released internationally. Doesn't matter. We saw them in 2021. We considered them 2021.
Yeah, I had a couple internationals in my.
Yeah, it happens. So
Yeah.
anyway,
there's a couple that I probably would add to my list, but wasn't able to see. Drive My Car being one of them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
definitely
that's a
would like
big
to
one
see
for me.
yeah, looking forward to that one.
But I guess we'll start with my number 10, which was Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
I really enjoyed it. I was expecting it to be shit, but it was
I was
actually
too.
pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
And the end really get you.
Aw, it's
That's
cute.
good.
Fuck, Red Letter Media fucked me up on that thing.
I haven't seen that one yet. I'll
They
have
didn't-
to check it out.
Yeah, they weren't fans.
I mean, I could see why. You know, they do the whole passing the torch thing, but
Yeah. From what again, I'm pretty spoiled on it now. It's like the whole kids thing I'm not a fan of. Like they ream on that. Like, why are the kids doing these movies these days? Stranger Things kids, and
Yeah.
then I also just feel that it wasn't a comedy as much as because the first one was pure comedy, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
This one was kind of light on it, but it was still, I'd still consider it comedy.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw like the trailers and stuff, I thought, oh yeah, this is awesome. I want to see it, but something turned me off along the way.
Well, I got a digital code still if you want it.
Oh yeah, sure.
I don't
do.
know if
I'll
it's streaming anywhere or not.
probably is, but I'll take a free code.
Well, I mean, for me, Ghostbusters is like, I mean, the new Ghostbusters movie, it's kind of one of those movies that for me, it's like, I'll get to it when I get to it. It's like, it's not something I'm really in a rush to. Like, I'm always kind of looking out to kind of see what the kids from like the kid from Stranger Things is doing these days and stuff like that. And you know, I'll get to it eventually. I've seen all the other Ghostbusters movies. I don't have quite the same level of attachment to them that a lot of people do. I feel like I mean, actually, truth be told, I've seen the second Ghostbusters movie more times than I've seen the first one. And that's not because I think Ghostbusters 2 is a better movie. Keep in mind, I actually think the first movie is definitely a better movie. But the second Ghostbusters movie about the Vigo and the painting and all that stuff, the baby, that was the one that my siblings always watched when I was growing up, and that was the one they liked more for some reason. So that was the one I always watched. But you know,
Is that the one with the
objective-
goop?
yeah,
Like,
the
yeah.
goop coming out of the bathtub, and they go into the sewer, and there's the skeletons, all that shit. And there's the walking Statue of Liberty. There's like the demon cab driver, everybody remembers or whatever.
Yeah.
And the coat comes alive. There's that scene in the courthouse. Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff that happens in the second movie. So yeah, that's the thing. Like the second movie I remember more than the first movie, but the first movie I do like consider to be objectively a better movie.
I think it's just
And
an
then-
all-time classic. Yeah.
Yeah. Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd. I mean, you gotta love all that stuff, you know. And then, and also Rick Moranis is funny, and Sigourney Weaver. Like, I always enjoy seeing her and stuff. And then I know they did some Ghostbusters movie in 2016 with like some Saturday Night Live girls. And I saw it, and I remember like thinking it was like watchable, but I don't really remember much else about it.
Yeah.
And so that brings me to this new one, and it's like I'll check it out, but I don't know if I'll get all the references or anything. Like maybe because the first film I really haven't watched that many times. I've only seen the first film like maybe 2 or 3 times, and so I don't remember like all the lines or like the last time I watched it I think was maybe like 7 years ago. But yeah, I definitely want to see the new one. So.
It's pretty good.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Do you want to go next, or should I go next?
Sure. I'll do. You go next. Actually, just.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, number 7, or no, not number 7. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay, I got 10. Sorry, I was getting confused because my numbers are all messy and crossed out. Okay.
Yep. Mine too.
Number 10. Yeah. No, I get it. Okay. So number 10. Okay, number 10. I'm gonna say Dune. Not because I didn't love it. I do love it. The reason it's at number 10 is because as much as I enjoyed the experience of watching it and watching like the world building, and I've rewatched it a couple of times actually, and there's more and more I'm enjoying out of like the little sort of story elements that they sprinkle in and kind of show throughout and stuff. But and sort of the way they establish like some of the details of the characters and what happens later. As much as I enjoy all that, the ending is such a buzzkill. Like when it just suddenly ends, like, and the girl's like, "This is only the beginning." And the more I think about it, it's like, I don't know. I just didn't like the way that ended very much. Like, because it's just when it's starting to get interesting, and like even though like I can appreciate everything else about it and all the little things that go in, and there, I would say there's probably enough that happens in that movie to make a full movie. Just that ending is just kind of, it sort of deflates the energy a little bit, you know. I almost would have preferred that it just cut to black, cut it, like just
When?
you know, rip the band-aid off, you know, cut to credits.
What? At what
It would have
point?
been more memorable, you know.
But at what point? Because
Well, maybe before they start leaving. I don't know. Like I just,
'Cause-
but that ending just bums me out for some reason.
I think it's like because I watched it with a bunch of Dune book readers,
Oh yeah,
and so they were like, they guessed that this would be where they ended it because they're
Yeah.
like, wow, we're like pretty deep in, and we're not that far into the book.
yeah,
And they kept pushing back. Oh, it's probably going to end here. Probably going to end here. And I was like, oh no, it's definitely
Yeah.
ending at this point.
yeah.
So,
I
I
guessed
mean-
it too, but
And for the fact
Yeah.
they wanted to make a sequel, I wasn't too upset with the ending that they had to do that kind of thing.
yeah. I think just for me, like,
I mean, like
just-
if they didn't get the green light on the sequel, totally 100%, that would be a shit ending.
yeah,
But he was Villeneuve's. I can't say his name.
Villeneuve. Yeah,
Yeah, he was taking a big gamble that he was gonna get that sequel.
yeah, that's true. And I'm glad that it got greenlit because it does sort of put my fears at ease. But
Mhm.
but yeah, I just, that ending just, it's just kind of a bummer. And maybe it'll grow on me more when the sequel comes out, and I won't mind it as much. But like, that's just sort of the one thing about that movie that it just because of that ending and the way it just sort of like trails off. Like, I feel like if it had just ended like before she said like this is only the beginning, and then something like I just maybe it was just that line. Like I don't know. Maybe if she just hadn't said that, I would have liked that ending more. Like, because
Yeah, I can
then
see
it's like
that.
this is the only beginning. Okay, so then what are you gonna do next? And then wait, no, it's Super Mario Brothers, where the girl busts in and says, Mario, Luigi, you're never gonna believe this. And then they're like, oh, I believe it because I believe. And then it cuts to black, and it's like, okay, well then what happens? But you never find out because they're never gonna make a sequel. Like, the ending to Dune kind of reminded me of the ending of Super Mario Brothers, I guess
Okay.
is what I'm trying to say. But I liked everything else about it.
What should we do because I do have this on my list a little
Oh,
Yeah.
you can share your
slightly
thoughts.
higher.
You
Should
can-
I
you can
share it at the number it is or share it now?
Well, I'm actually I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say any more about it because I think you can share your thoughts when you get to it. Like,
Okay. I won't add
And,
too much more either. But
yeah, just speak from the heart. That's what I say.
Yeah, of course. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. My number 10 then, if you're done.
I'm done.
This was one where I kept swapping it out, but I'll leave my other number 10 for the honorable mention section. I went with Censor.
Okay, cool.
Yep. I don't know. I just love all three of us here do love horror. And this was fun. I love the slow burn horrors. The psychological kind of she's going crazy kind of horrors. Really well shot, an interesting topic and theme.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked her slow descent into madness. It was really nicely done.
Yeah.
And that final act, like I didn't even notice at the end, like it was when because I watched a little bit of like a Red Letter Media on, they talked about like, because I noticed that they went from like a regular widescreen shot to 4:3. I thought it was just a quick cut that I just noticed, but it actually happened over a course of like, it was slowly panning in over a course of like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
I just noticed it when it was done. I was like, oh wait, they went to this just to, oh, that's neat, that's cool. But I thought it was even cooler that they did it over time.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I noticed that until it was done or not.
Yeah.
I know at some point I was like, wait.
Yeah, I think it was when they were finally in like so just spoilers for this whole list. Like when they were in like that last scene of her, I don't know, they're doing like the final climactic scene, and she goes nuts and actually starts killing the actors. That's when I noticed like, oh, we're in 4:3 now. They're just making the movie. Okay. But I did not notice that it was slowly creeping in on that. That was so cool once I went back and saw that.
Cool. Yeah, that movie on a technical level was a masterwork. It's on my list. It's higher on my list. I'll get to it. But
it was an honorable mention for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of put it higher, but there were just other ones I had to have it on the list. But yeah.
I love that movie very much. I'll share my thoughts on it when I get to it. But but that final act though with the screen format change, I love seeing that kind of stuff in movie, and when films sort of mess with your head like that. And I felt it was utilized really well in Censor, because it made you feel like the character. It made you really feel like you were there. It was really effective.
Oh yeah, you were in her shoes the whole time. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a thoughtful and simple way of expressing something really intense. I like that. That was wicked cool.
Yeah.
All right. My number 9 is Oscar nom, Coda.
Didn't see it.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a typical story, I guess, but just the
What is it about? I like the only thing that that kept me away from is Apple Plus. I don't know if I
Yeah.
necessarily agree with that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Something about Apple TV just turns me off, and I'm like, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I only had it because when we bought our phones last time, we got free like 6 months for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's CODA stands for Child of Deaf Adults, I think.
Yeah.
So it's a family. Three of them are deaf, and then one can hear. It's about
Yeah.
her finding her love for music, and her parents, well, specifically her mom, doesn't really want her to do that.
Oh, okay. Sounds cute. I like a little family drama movie.
I want to see that one. Yeah.
It's
That
got
looks
good
really
buzz
good.
and shit too.
Yeah. It looks like a good Disney movie. Like if Disney decided to make like the same type of movie that they usually make, with like the, feel good sort of elements and the life affirming sort of aspects and the satisfying sort of like plot developments and stuff, but done in like a really sincere way. Like they do it with their animated movies, but with their live action movies, they've often had a harder time sort of finding the right balance between being like charming and sincere, and I feel like Coda looks like something that like if they wanted to make like a serious movie that had like a serious good message to it, it would
Yeah.
probably be something like that.
Now that you say that, it's definitely live action Disney.
I just guess based on the trailer, I still
Yeah.
want to see the movie. It does look really like something I would enjoy, like and like smile about. Like I would watch it and really feel happy that I watched it.
Yeah, it's really
So.
good. And it takes place in Massachusetts. So
Nice. That's cool.
Okay. Love the New England movies,
Yeah.
which I have basically an honorable mention one for,
Oh.
for just because of where it takes place.
Nice. Do you want to say it now or no?
Oh, wait for it because it was the number
Oh.
10 as well.
Oh, okay. All right. So, okay, on a much darker note. So we always, I mean, everybody has to throw in a controversial pick once in a while.
Is it gonna be one? I think.
Yeah, this one
Is it
like,
gonna be that one?
I'm gonna try not to say too much about it. It's called New Order.
Okay, not the one I was thinking of then.
Oh, okay, phew. Now I'm curious, which one were you thinking about?
Detain.
Oh, well, okay. I'm not gonna. Right. New Order. I'm going to talk about for the moment.
Yep.
So New Order is super controversial for reasons that I can't help but feel are a little bit like, it makes me feel like a lot of people who are complaining about this movie haven't actually watched it, because everybody sort of is like poking at some sort of like aspect of the film that has to do with like class. Like I think a lot, like there's a lot of people who are watching this movie and are thinking that it's saying that lower class people are like evil, and I really am like, I watched when I watched this movie, I was focused very like heavily on it because I know that it was like trying to say something really intense. And basically it's a Mexican movie. It's actually not that great a movie.
Yeah.
I'm only putting it on this list because I think more people need to watch it. Yeah, it's a Mexican movie about this basically uprising that occurs among the citizens between like the lower class and the upper class, where the lower class start basically just like causing like rioting and going berserk, right? And so as a result of this, and it's a pretty intense movie, like because you're following like this sort of rich circle of people, but it's kind of cutting back and forth between other sort of situations that are happening at the same time as well. And throughout the course of the film, basically militarization ends up kind of coming into play throughout the course of it's like a gradual thing. And then by the end of the film, it's almost like it becomes a completely different sort of thing where it goes from, like this one situation involving a civilian uprising to a situation that is essentially like a fascist militarized like hyper like North Korean type of like crazy shit. So basically what I'm trying to say is that like this movie is trying to say something much more profound than like class disputes. Like in my opinion, the most sympathetic character in the film is actually like a poor person trying to get his wife to a hospital. And so like I don't even like buy the whole, and I think most of the controversy seems to be stemming from something that the director said, which like the director probably said something really stupid, and like to me it's like it doesn't even matter because this isn't a movie about class, you know, it's a movie about militarization. And I think the reason it's a movie that I think some people need to watch is because militarization is actually a very scary thing that can happen and does happen and still happens. And so the film's about something that's pretty real, you know, so that's why I put it on my top 10 list. So yeah, New Order, that's my number 9.
I haven't seen that one.
Never heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it on one episode, but I didn't dig too deep.
Kind of maybe it sounds familiar. I'll take that back.
Yeah.
I do love, you know, Mexicans film. Got my brothers representing.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean it's a good, in my opinion, it's very well made, but I look it up and the amount of hate it gets is crazy because everybody's sort of focusing on such a small aspect of it that like isn't even like the main part of it. It just kind of bums me out a bit, you know. Like I guess like when it comes to movies like this, like I'm calling for like maybe a little bit less of a not like an absolutist type of like I think people need to approach it from more of a non-absolutist point of view, you know, just kind of look at the film on its own terms rather than just like little details that aren't even important, you know. That's just my view. Anyway,
All right.
your turn.
My turn. My number 9. You know, I wouldn't even like I put it here more for this time setting I saw it in and everything. It's just The Quiet Place 2. Like I can't say it was like, you know, an incredibly, I mean it was really well done, of course. Definitely recommend if you loved the first one, this one's good, but it after the first act it does kind of just follow in the footsteps of this first one. And I just had to put it on there because I like it was one of the first movies back I saw like when stuff started opening back up. But I saw it in the drive-in, which I haven't seen a movie in a drive-in in I don't know decades. Literally, I think. Shit, I don't remember the last movie when it was this. But yeah, and it was just I don't know fun. Like I did like can't say I don't know like. I don't have much more to say on it other than like if you like if because it's not like a movie that'll blow you away if you saw the first one. It was just more of the same, but the same is still real good.
Yeah.
And I'll say the real good stuff was the first act of how the society actually fell was with John Krasinski still in it. That was just really fun and really good, really well done. Seeing just shit hit the fan instantly. Like it's like not to spoil it a lot if you want to see it. Have you seen it, guys? Seen it or?
Did you see that?
No, not yet.
Okay, well it's not a big spoiler on how things happen. You did?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like it happens. Starts off they're just at his kid's baseball game, and then the aliens come and start murdering people, and it was just real cool to see. And it's of course in like everything they like it's one of those horrors that like The Quiet Place as well in this one that they actually do smart shit, which I appreciate. Like it ain't no Texas Chainsaw Massacre Netflix.
No,
it's one where they're constantly making correct decisions, correct smart decisions that, you know, just the aliens are just a little bit more powerful than they know because they're still, you know, unknown. But yeah,
I would agree. I like both the Quiet Place movies. I like the first one more, but
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
yeah.
The first one just had me in tears at the end. I was like,
yeah,
"Oh,
the first
okay,
one
this is
was
great."
good. The second movie, though, I actually thought was the second movie. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but like
No, no, not at all.
I was
Yeah.
entertained by it very much, and I did like it like all the way through.
Yeah, and I put it on the list just because it was a good sequel as well. It
Yeah,
didn't fuck anything up. So
yeah, not substantial. It managed to stay pretty close to like the spirit of the first one overall, even though it goes in a totally different direction. Like after that intro, it's still like, it does its own thing and it's fine. Like I still liked it. So
Yeah.
So, all right, cool, excellent.
Still gotta check that one out. I keep forgetting. It's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah,
that has a lot of good stuff on there now too.
Yeah. I get into Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I accidentally got a year of it. I did a free
Oh.
trial.
Lucky you.
Binge that Survivor, man.
Oh man.
That's why I want it. Just to binge some Survivor, old school Survivor.
Give you the password if you want it.
I'm gonna try out for Survivor.
I do. I throw an application in every year.
Nice.
We're on 8, right?
Oh,
That was yeah. If you were the one that started, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 8. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, my number 8. I guess it's a 2020, 2021, kind of in the gray area there. Shiva Baby.
Oh, that's on my list.
Shiva Baby was excellent. Yeah.
I loved it. I watched it today.
Nice. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I like that movie. I thought it was scarier than Uncut Gems.
Oh my god, this one freaked me out hard.
Yeah, I did a double feature of this and Krisha.
Oh
I haven't seen that one.
You should. If Shiva Baby gave you anxiety,
this one gave me so much anxiety. Yeah. Krisha.
Yeah.
Oh, Krisha is so like, it's so uncomfortable.
I gotta see it. Yeah.
I love horror movies. I mean, I love horror movies that aren't quite horror movies, but like sort of are at the same time. Like,
yeah, Shiva Baby definitely falls into that horror thriller at the very least.
Yeah, it's like a social thriller,
Yeah, no violence or anything, but just so like anxiety pumping.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about it, but
it's worth seeing.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. I can because it's way up higher on my list, so I'll elaborate a bit why I liked it when we get to that.
That sounds excellent. And I also, actually, before I say my number 8, I should mention my number 9 choice, New Order, was that technically was a 2020 film. So yeah, like but I didn't see it till 2021. So
okay, yeah, I'll try and poke out any 2020. Yeah.
Okay, so my number 8 choice, I could have gone with a normal animated movie, because I thought Disney actually had a good year overall when it came to animated movies. I liked Raya, I liked Encanto, and I liked Luca. I thought all 3 of those were solid movies. Luca was Pixar, but still, like all 3 of those were solid movies. And what were the other 2 films that were nominated for Best Animated Picture? Was
Mitchell and the Machines?
Yeah, I like that too. And then Flea, I'm gonna need to give that one another shot, because like the animation, like it irritated the crap out of me, and it was hard for me to kind of follow it because the animation was just like really choppy, and it just, I don't know. I'll give it another shot. So I haven't given up on that one yet.
Yeah, I do want to watch that before we do the Oscar stuff.
Yeah.
I've fallen
But
out on animation. It's so hard, unfortunately.
yeah, well, there hasn't been a whole lot of animation
Yeah,
either.
it's
that's
just all
come out,
Disney.
Yeah,
much.
that's the reason why. It's the original Disneys don't look all that appealing, and then the Pixar's I feel kind of have dropped in their. I
Yeah,
mean, they still get pretty good reviews for the most part, but like something about them after Disney being more controlling over them, it feels is just a little. Oh, it's a little disappointing.
yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't mind Luca, I must admit. Like, I mean, it was. I know that's not everybody's favorite, but I like the setting a lot, and I like the
It
vibe.
looked good. It looked good, and I do
Yeah.
want to see it. Yeah.
Mitchell's
Yeah,
versus the
it's
Machines is really good. It's not Disney.
yeah.
But
I
Mm.
liked all of I liked all of those movies. So leave it to me to choose an animated movie that isn't any of those, and allow me to nerd out for a moment while I announce that my number 8 choice is Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a
Uh,
Time.
I
And the
actually
reason
saw that. I saw that like because I was doing a little research on what like just movies I should watch, and that was on there. I was like, oh,
oh yeah,
interesting.
well, it's pretty incredible, and it's flawed. It's Evangelion, like there's holes that one can poke into to Godsend. But the point is the rebuild series, it's over, it's finished. This was the finale. They amped it up, and then in typical Evangelion fashion, which I would expect no less from, they messed with my head. They threw me for a loop. They confused the crap out of me, and overall, they left me with something to think about. And that's really all I want from Evangelion overall. Like, I don't necessarily care if I like it or not. I just want to be challenged. I want my viewpoints to be, blown away, and I want my thoughts to be all jumbled and tossed about. And
Mm,
Evangelion delivers that for me. And this last one definitely delivered the goods, so to speak. So that's my number 8
okay.
choice.
Yeah, I've only seen one of them, and I think it was just the first one.
Oh yeah. Well, I the series really is it's like the premium thing to watch, but the rebuild is in its own way is really special. It's just I don't know. I guess it depends on what you kind of grew up with. I've seen the series, the Neon Genesis Evangelion series, like several times. The rebuild films I've only seen once, but I'll probably rewatch them. Now that I've watched all 4 of them. So
that's something I've never watched. I see the title like everywhere, but never
it's
checked it out.
Yeah, it's
it's
a
the
big anime. Yeah.
it's the Sistine Chapel of anime. It really is pretty incredible. So. All right, that was my number 8.
My number 8 was Dune. Then, yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, to go off, I guess, to give my 2 cents on it, I liked that we're getting a new franchise.
Mm.
Just in general, like a little sick of the Star Wars, Marvel. I mean, that's really the only franchises out there right
Yeah,
now.
Star Wars and Marvel.
But
Yeah,
there's so many of them,
yeah,
and I like that this is mature. It has a dedicated fan base that, from what I can tell, it has a deep lore, cool shit. Like the
yeah,
books, like scared the fuck out of me because they're so long, so I never even wanted to attempt to read the first page of them. But from what I can tell, my friend, because again, did a little viewing party thing with my friends on it, and they thought it was good.
Mhm. Okay.
And I liked it for not knowing shit about it. So
Excellent.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm really excited to sort of see like what happens next. I really am. And the first film I really like. It's definitely something I'm gonna probably watch a few more times. Like,
I
who knows
watched
how
it
many?
twice.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many things about it that were really satisfying, both like on an emotional level and also just to kind of see like certain things actually be sort of like taken seriously, like, and actually given like a visionary type of treatment that, you know, which I don't know necessarily, like I guess one could argue whether or not the quality of this film measures up to something like Blade Runner 2049. But to me, it's like apples and oranges, like two different things that you can't even really compare. Yeah, no, I think Dune is really special. And I'm looking forward to, you know, seeing this whole, what they do with it evolve, you know. So.
Yeah, especially for sci-fi, it got some good. Yeah, got the Oscar nom, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm glad it got nominated.
Yeah. All right. My number 7 is Suicide Squad. Sorry, The Suicide Squad.
Oh yes, of course. Sorry, I was gonna say, wait a minute. Hold on.
Nice.
Will Smith,
James Gunn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like the more mature way they went with it, and I love James Gunn stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, it was solid. I love the kaiju twist that it went in toward the end. That was special.
yeah, and I like how he brings in obscure characters like Polka Dot Man.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I like the Suicide Squad. And yeah, it definitely felt like a bigger, more epic type of film than the original. So,
Yep.
like 100%.
Sorry, just having some internet hiccups in my.
Oh yeah, no
How do I
worries.
sound?
Oh, you sound fine. You were freezing a little bit here and there.
Yeah, it's popping in and out or something, but
Oh, okay.
see if it fixes itself in a minute.
Okay. All right. Okay, so my number 7 is it's a Italian film, The Hand of God, which it's on Netflix, and I don't want to give too much away. It got nominated for Best International Film, so that's pretty cool. But it's pretty much just about. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty much just about this kid who is sort of in like a aimless spot. He's like he's kind of studying philosophy, doesn't really quite know like where he's going, and then like he kind of gets hit with this family tragedy, and yeah, like I don't want to really go too much more into it, but you know, I really enjoyed it a lot, you know. And like it's one of those movies where like after the pandemic and stuff, because I know Italy kind of had a tough time there in particular at one point, and it's kind of nice to just sort of see a movie like where like Italy feels alive again, you know. It's just made me smile. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw it on the list and I thought I was thinking about seeing it, but
Yeah,
again,
I
had
really
too many to
liked
cram in.
Yeah, no worries. It's understandable that I really liked it a lot. It's like a quaint picture is what I would call it.
We'll add it to the watch list.
Yeah.
All right, let's see how I can do this. If I
Okay.
can get through it. My number 7 was French Dispatch.
Ah, excellent.
Yes, French Dispatch. Yep. I watched it this morning as well. So
Nice. Very cool.
and I had to put a Wes Anderson up in here.
Yeah.
When he puts one out, I love him. It could have been higher if it like wasn't necessarily a anthology. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the anthologies.
Yeah.
I like the first one the best, I think.
Same.
Yeah. And then, but it, had all the good Wes Anderson stuff, the beautiful
Yeah.
cinematography, the funny characters, all that kind of witty writing, cute stuff.
Yeah.
How,
Oh,
so I'll stop right now on that because I'm getting some feedback and shit. How am I sounding?
Sound good. Jumbled here and there, but
yeah. Cuts in occasionally, but nothing too bad yet. So
All right, let me do something real quick and see if it'll.
okay. All right. Do you want us to
Some
keep talking?
If you want, yes, you can go ahead.
Okay. It's up to you.
Connect to another. I'm connecting to another little net.
All right. Cool.
I'm connected, so maybe it looks a little better. Maybe we'll see. Yep, I'm on a new network, so we'll see if this works better.
All right. Yeah, no, the French Dispatch, I actually quite like that one too. I saw it in the theater, and yeah, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. It definitely, I do agree though, the anthology setup is a little bit, I mean, for me, like the aspect of it I was most intrigued by was the stuff going on at the new, like at the actual newspaper, at the
Yeah,
actual
me too.
French Dispatch.
Me
Yeah,
too.
like that stuff to me was like consistently interesting, and I think the stories themselves could have been interesting on their own terms if they had been individual films or something, but like when you condense them, really, like you have to just sort of enjoy the visuals and enjoy the acting, and but you can't really get a whole lot else out of it like you ordinarily, like Wes
Yeah.
Anderson's movies all have like emotional beats and peaks to them, and this movie, all of those were kind of more at the newspaper station. So
Yeah, and like the second one, it was a little hard to follow what was necessarily going on because there was just a lot of shit being thrown around.
yeah, the second one was quite confusing. It was, I think, I don't, there was a lot of like context of the time period that like the film didn't really quite elaborate on as much as it could have, that I think was missing. I think like a lot of people are going to probably like not really be able to follow the second story in particular, just because like there's too much ground to cover about like the time period and the context of like the revolution and like the student protesting, and like, yeah, there's an interesting movie called The Dreamers that sort of touches on that. But anyway, but did you see the French Dispatch, Zach?
yeah, it just barely didn't make the top 10. I think it's number 12.
Nice.
But,
Okay.
yeah, I enjoyed it.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably at the bottom of the Wes Anderson list, but still good. It's Wes Anderson. It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say, I mean, I didn't like Isle of the Dogs either, so this is
Yeah,
a
that's at the
follow-up.
bottom of my list.
Yeah, so this follow-up was a little disappointing, but still a good Wes Anderson-y. If you just at least scratch that itch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've liked pretty much all of his. I mean, Bottle Rocket, I think it's one I'm going to eventually warm to in time.
I love that one. Wow.
Yeah, I just need to sit on it a little bit more, but I've liked everything. In fact, I've loved pretty much everything else I've seen of his. So,
Oh yeah.
Isle of Dogs. Yeah, I mean, I got what they were going for with it, and like, I mean, I don't know. I liked it a lot, but it was definitely like not good.
Yeah.
Something was missing for sure.
Yeah.
Was that another book adaptation, or did he do that? Write that?
I think I think that was an original thing.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. Yeah, I liked it, but it wasn't good, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Yeah. That's all I have to say on the French Dispatch, I guess.
Okay.
So, oh, my number 6 is Dune.
Okay.
Excellent.
Word.
Yeah.
Cool. A good choice.
Yeah, I just watched the Lynch version like a while before seeing this, so it
Yeah.
was like night and day.
Oh, and by the way, some people sort of wonder if like it's possible to watch the Dune version and still like enjoy this or enjoy the book. And in my opinion, it is, because the Dune version is honestly just such a mess that it doesn't even really matter. Like, yeah.
I'm interested, but not interested enough to watch it. I like Lynch too. I like Lynch a lot too. But
Yeah, this is the Lynch film that even Lynch doesn't like.
that's what I've heard. Yep.
Yeah, so take that as you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about Dune, or?
Not really. You guys pretty much said all the good stuff.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
cast, good
Yeah.
music, Hans Zimmer, you got what's his name, Jason Momoa, you got what's his name, Oscar Isaacs, the guy who's in the Nativity Story, who everybody thought was playing Jesus.
Of course, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya.
Yeah.
Two up and coming youngins.
Yeah, everybody loves Zendaya.
Yeah, everyone was pissed she wasn't in it as much as they advertised.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
I
Of course.
Well, they'll definitely make up for it in the sequel, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then everybody loves Timmy Tim. And then who there was somebody else that was in it that there's somebody I really like. Oh, Javier Bardem is in it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good cast, good visuals. The sandworms were awesome.
I liked the fight shit, like with that body armor stuff they have. That was really neat.
Yeah.
Like
See
they can't use
Lynch version
guns.
of that.
Yeah. Oh,
I've seen like videos of it. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
it is so funny. Oh, man. Yeah. There's a sci-fi miniseries of Dune that, like, I don't know. I'm always gonna have mixed feelings about that one.
And there's a documentary too of Dune.
Jodorowsky's Dune.
I want to
what?
see that. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's well, have you seen that one, Zach?
Not yet. It's on my list.
Yeah.
Never ending
man.
list.
Mhm.
Well, wait to see what his vision was.
Oh, I'm sure it was out there.
Oh man, it was so funny. You got to see it. It is hysterical. Okay, I won't spoil it. All right. Number 6, my choice, Summer of Soul. When it comes, like, there's something about like concert documentary. They're hard to make. It's hard to get them right. But Summer of Soul, honestly, I love. It was about this. What was it? Harlem Cultural Festival in 1969, same year as Woodstock. So okay, yeah, 1969. And it's kind of it was the music festival that happened that year that people don't talk about. And it had like Nina Simone and like Sly and the Family Stone and Gladys Knight and the Pips and all these like musicians. Fifth Dimension, I think Stevie Wonder, it was there.
No, damn.
It's
Was this a
incredible.
documentary or?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
documentary, but it also has like the footage of the concert, of the performances as well. And this is stuff that people haven't even seen either. Like this is like wicked obscure shit, and it's all in this documentary, like Summer of Soul. And there was another music documentary I saw, the new Beatles one, the
Yeah.
Get Back, which is my friends and because I saw it with some other people, And I think we called it the Lord of the Rings of music documentaries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a meme. I'm pretty sure by now. on the
Yeah,
internet,
at
yeah.
this point it is.
I want
Yeah.
to see it, but fuck, is that long?
It's really, really good, but yeah, you do have to wade
I
through.
love the
I mean,
Beatles too.
you have
It's
to
like,
really, if you love the Beatles, then you'll love it.
I do. Like,
But you have to like really, really love the Beatles. Like you
I
have to
do.
sit through.
Yeah, I really
All
do.
right,
But
well, good, because like you'll get plenty of them in this. You'll get like plenty of Paul McCartney acting possessed. You'll get like tons and tons of footage of John Lennon mugging for the camera. You'll get George Harrison constantly like being confused and wandering around not knowing how to feel, and you'll have Ringo Starr pretty much just chilling and being like the coolest dude ever, and you'll get plenty of hours of that. But to me, like that, it doesn't really get good until like the final concert at the end when they're on the like on the roof, because like throughout the course of that concert, like not only do you see them perform the songs, but you also see like the reaction on the ground level, and you see the cops go in and try to stop them, and you see everything, and it's wicked awesome. So the whole thing is worth sitting through just for that. I mean, the ending really makes it worth it. It's quite the journey. But yeah, I liked Get Back. I thought it was good. But honestly, when it comes to music documentaries, like I think Summer of Soul, like just it beat it out for me.
I don't think I heard of that one.
It's really, really good. I
Yeah.
think it's also I saw it actually in the theater, but I believe it's also on Disney Plus. I believe.
Okay.
And I'll just throw a quick honorable mention just because we're on docs.
Yeah.
It's technically a 2021 Painter and the Thief.
Oh yeah, I want to see that one so bad.
It was amazing. Yeah, it's really like, I don't know if like, because it's at some points I just wonder like how staged it is, like if it is staged at all or like what, because it was just incredible how they got everything they did. And just so what it basically is, just a quick rundown, is it's a one of the Nordic countries, like they're in Oslo for most of it, but she's not from there, and she speaks English, and there's some like Swedish language that like they go in and out of that. But so it is a foreign doc.
Yeah.
And there's just this really talented painter who was getting a show, and but before the show, the two murals she worked on that she had really intimate connections with were stolen by some tweakers. And she really is like so obsessed with getting them back, understandably, because it was like kind of like
Yeah.
almost some of her life's work, really. And she finds the main guy, and like just it forms like this an intimate bond with him, and it's just like incredible how like it just develops into like you see the dude just it's so beautiful. Honestly, there's just like the scene where it reveals it, because she was like, I want to just talk to you, I want to do a portrait of you in the beginning of the movie. This is just to get to know who you are, why you did this, what's your deal. And like she does a portrait of him, and then like she reveals it to him, and he's still like drugged out, tweaking, and he just like sobs uncontrollably and weeps. And like it was just like, oh, because he's like, yeah, he had a huge like good upbringing. He was a pretty well athlete, he's a smart dude, but just got down the wrong path. And you could just tell that like he got hit emotionally with this portrait he first saw of her that she did. And just like from there it like goes into like just this incredible relationship story of these two, and it's just like so amazing. Can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, it's on my watch list. That one I've been really intrigued by for a while. Like I wrote like a short story in middle school that was about something like that. It was just like it's just about like a thief and a painter, like, and I was reading this like the plot summary, I was like, oh wow, that's like, okay, so that's something that, okay, that's interesting, and it got me thinking, yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, and there's so many twists and turns for a documentary too. It's like wow.
Oh my god.
And it was filmed over 3 years as well, just because of what took place during it. It was just
Yeah.
amazing. And
Oh.
the final like 30 seconds to a minute is just like gut wrenchingly beautiful. Like I
Oh man.
was sobbing so hard during it. It was like, oh god, yes.
Yeah. I gotta see it. And I should say this, that's not the Summer of Soul, that's not the last documentary I have on my list. So
Okay. All right, word. Yeah.
yeah.
So what was that? Number 6 are we on then?
Yeah, number 6. Yeah.
All right. So my real number 6. And by the way, Painter and the Thief was gonna be number 9, but I had to boot it for other stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
Number 6 for me was Another Round.
Oh, I want to see that so bad.
I love it. It was really good. I saw it over the weekend. It was like I love Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, it's a movie that's, I mean, it's shot really well. It's a Denmark movie, so it's takes place over there.
Yeah.
It's about a group of teachers that there's like this theory of that some psychologist made that humans are actually now or have been born with 0.05 less BAC, like blood alcohol content in their body than they're supposed to be. So
Right.
to operate at an optimal level, people should be drinking all day, basically. Not like heavy drinking, but like keeping that 0.05 constant thread throughout their day, and they'll be peak performance, which is, I think, something to it because there's like that. There's like a programming theory as well for computer programmers.
Yeah.
Let me look it up real quick.
Which, by the way, Zach, have you seen Another Round?
I haven't. I wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay, it's called the Balmer Peak for programming, at least. It's a theory
Okay.
that computer programmers obtain quasi-magical superhuman coding ability when they have a blood alcohol concentration between, that seems high, 0.129 and 0.138. That seems real high. But yeah. It goes off that theory of, but and the other teachers like Mad Mickelson is a history teacher that's kind of just going through the motions. His
Okay.
home life isn't the greatest, growing distant with his wife and everything, but once they like this group of 4, they start this experiment and shit livens up. He starts teaching well, the kids start getting into it. He was in a bit of trouble for not being a great teacher and almost not necessarily getting fired, but taking off his position there. But of course, alcohol does what it does, and
It's alcohol,
starts gripping you. They start upping the ante, and then things start kind of devolving into some darker territories. And
Excellent.
and a somewhat like, and it really like one reason, of course, why I liked it is I don't drink. I'm sober now because of the shit that alcohol does, and it was really hit home for me. I was like, damn, I see what they're doing. I see how it's going. I see like,
I mean, Thomas Vinterberg has made some brutally honest movies, and he's definitely not like the type of filmmaker who's like afraid of digging his fingers like deep into like some really sad, troubling social issues.
and then the thing about it is just like they don't stop even like when shit goes bad. Like at the very end, they're still drinking, they're still partying. Like no spoiler. Like I think it's in the trailer is like the last scene of Mads doing that bomb ass dancing. Like my favorite scene was that last scene of him just dancing, and it was so good. And and one just like speaking of the director that you mentioned, like what I found fascinating is that so Mads' family, he has 2 sons in it.
Yeah.
But originally it was a son and a daughter, and his daughter was the actual real life daughter of the director, but she actually died 4 days into filming due to a car crash.
Oh.
I was like, holy how did he even want to keep continuing to make this movie?
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's
Ooh.
something.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Well, I know Thomas Vinterberg also worked with Mads Mikkelsen in that movie, The Hunt, which not the one that came out this year. I think it got delayed, or last year. Not that one, but one that was nominated for best international film. Like I think back in like 2016 or 2015.
I wonder,
And
did I
that's
see that even?
you might have if you're
I love Mads, but I
fan
don't know if I've seen it, honestly.
well, it is a terrifying movie that I highly recommend.
Yeah,
And
I
then
have that
also,
one.
it's
I haven't seen it yet, but
it's definitely worth watching, but it's really like it terrifies you. It like it's really really like scary to think about. And then one of Vinterberg's films recently got put out by the Criterion Collection, The Celebration, which is another really powerful film, but is also like very dark and very messed up. So another round I definitely want to see.
Oh,
That looks
I highly
really good.
recommend it. Yep.
Excellent.
And I do, and just, I have another Mads in the honorable mentions because I just have some funny shit to say about it. But yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. All right.
Wow.
All right. Cool.
so my number 5 for me
Yes.
is Titan.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There it
Cool.
is.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting it to be a little more body horror ish,
Right.
but
Mhm.
still good for what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah. It sneaks up on you. It's it doesn't quite go in the direction you think it's going. It starts off going in one direction, but then it just starts.
It's wild.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely wild. Yeah.
That was it's an honorable mention for me, and I almost put it on my list, but I figured one of
Yeah.
you guys would have it on there, so I was like,
Yeah.
"Do you have it
Well-
on your list, Tristan?"
Yes.
Yeah, I knew it. That's
You might even be
Yeah.
able to guess which position it holds, but
oh, really? Okay.
yeah,
I think I know now that you said that. Then
yeah, but all right, cool. So your number 5 is Titane.
Yep.
Okay, my number 5 is the Nicolas Cage movie Pig. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it, but it is. I found it quite exquisite.
yeah, mine's way higher.
Excellent.
I'll just give you that. So I honestly like one of my favorite movies. Like, not to spoil my point, where because it's not where you think it would be, but
Right.
it is literally one of the favorite movies I've seen of 2021 and
Yeah.
/ I don't know, last 5 years at least.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it took me on a journey. And it wasn't the type of journey I expected it to be either. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect from this movie. I avoided the trailers because I knew that the trailers were misleading.
Yep, that's what I've never watched trailers really, but I heard it was they marketed as John Wick with a pig.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't see any trailers before I watched it, but reading the plot summary, that's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
And you think Nick Cage, you think it's gonna be some crazy shit like that.
Yeah,
exactly. And it is crazy, but just not in that way though. It's crazy in just the different sort of like it takes you on a journey, and I didn't know where it was going. It's like it was definitely one of the most unpredictable movies of the year, I'd say.
I'm so pissed it didn't get best picture. I'm like, come on, Oscars, what the fuck are you doing?
It deserves something,
Best picture in my opinion, and at least best actor with Nick
Yeah.
Cage. Come on, Oscars, bunch of bureaucratic fucks.
Yeah, they're just like, I don't want to give Nicolas Cage another They don't want to give Nicolas Cage anything else. They've already given him too much. That's their feeling. They're like, no, we already gave it to him for leaving Las Vegas. He we don't owe him anything.
So
It's
frustrating.
depressing. I know. They can piss off.
Yeah.
I think the Oscars are bullshit.
Yeah, man. Me too. Fuck them all.
Yeah. Anyway. I don't have anything more I want to say about Pick because I'm sure you guys have more that you want to say about it, or one of you or whoever. But I
I do.
I really
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was very touched by it. I would recommend it if you haven't seen it.
I think
So-
everyone should see it.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen it, watch it before we spoil the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Hurry. You still got a couple minutes left. All right.
And I have a friend that saw it and didn't like it. And I was like, this is why,
Yeah, well,
like, and you guys know him too. We went to high school with him. But I also like, we sometimes talk about movies and stuff. And
yeah.
he has the shittiest taste in movies. Like, no offense. I mean, offense to him, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
because I've called him out on it before, and then it was just like last weekend or something. He said, "So," because I game with him all the time.
Yeah.
and we were just chatting. It's like, "Oh yeah, so I saw Pig the other day. What do you guys think of it?" And I was just like, "The best movie of 2021, hands down. Loved it.
Yeah.
Best movie I've seen in a few decades." He's like, "What?" I think it kind of sucked. I was like, I didn't get it. I think it was boring. Nothing happened. I was like,
He needs to watch
I
it
hate you.
again.
I fucking hate you, man. I hate you. This is why, like, because I've called him out on having shitty taste in movies. Like, okay, this is exactly why you have shit taste in movies. You're just proving my point with this, man.
Was he also the friend that didn't like Midsummer?
No, it's a different
Oh.
one. He
Oh,
actually
okay.
has good taste in movies, but
Yeah. Okay. That's funny.
so which one was that? Was it
Oh
my
yeah.
turn?
It's your turn, and this is your number 5.
Number 5. Okay,
Yeah.
my number 5 is Boiling Point.
Oh, okay. I haven't
Either
seen
of
that
you
one.
seen it?
Haven't
Heard of
seen
it?
I've heard of it. Haven't seen it.
I don't think I've heard of it actually. What is it?
It is a one-shot film, and it's a legit one-shot. It doesn't have any sneaky cuts. It's
Like secret,
a-
like they behind the pillar, and it's
yeah, those are always frustrating. Like
yeah.
I loved Birdman, but I could
Yeah.
tell there was a few cuts. Like still long 20-minute scenes and shit, but
Yeah, it was still impressive, but
and then like less so 1917 of whatever.
oh
Um,
yeah.
I like
See,
that one.
Have you seen Climax?
Is that that?
It's
There's a-
oh yeah.
There's a couple I want to see. Is that the one where there are people like rob shit in the at a night or something like that?
It's the one. Well, do you want to say the plot, Zach?
It's like a theater troupe, and they're having an after party or something, and they get drugged, and it's just everyone tripping out. That's pretty great.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a dance troupe.
okay. Yeah, that's not the one I was thinking of.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
darker
Climax.
than what it sounds
Victoria.
like,
Victoria was the one I was thinking of.
Oh,
but-
oh, Victoria, I love.
I
like
want to
that
see
one.
that.
That was good. Yeah.
I do want to see that one.
Climax is. I think I put that on one of my top 5 lists, if memory serves.
I think so.
Yeah, Climax is messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just get back to Boiling Point. It's a one take movie, like straight up filmed in one take. They said they had like 8 days to do it. Or eight days, twice, two times a day. But due to COVID, they literally had to cut it in half. I think they took like the second or third one, and it's a movie it's just a restaurant movie. Like it takes place on a busy night at a 5-star restaurant in the UK. It's who's the director? Philip Barnidi, who I guess had a shit ton of experience, like 12 years experience working even at, because I guess it takes place even at an actual restaurant that, and he worked at it and they filmed it in it. It's just like, yeah, and it's just a night of shit that goes down. Like, granted, like, because I used to know, or I've been somewhat familiar with it just by knowing people in the general business, and it was like really realistic. And too, like, granted, everything, not everything in this movie that it depicts would take place in the one night. It'd be, but they hit it home really well of what it is to be like the restaurant, in the restaurant biz.
Yeah.
It stars what's his, he's like, in the Guy Ritchie movies. He's in Boardwalk Empire. Let me see. Stephen Graham. Stephen Graham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's like the head chef. Just a bunch of shit goes down, and then even like, because it like goes back between the back of the house and the front of the house, and like
That's
the
cool.
front of the house shit gave me so much anxiety too watching, just because of just because I have social anxiety. I could never be a waiter or waitress just because of it just gave me so much anxiety, because
Yeah.
like when they switch, every time they switch back to like the waiters shit, I was like, oh no, I don't want to see this. But it was good. It was a real good, well done one shot. Like nothing. I mean, yeah.
Oh man, yeah, no, it sounds really, really good. I mean, I like movies that give me feelings of anxiety, not because like I enjoy feeling anxious when I'm out in public, but because I like seeing a movie where I feel that feeling of like familiarity and relatability, and
Yep.
that can feel really cathartic, and that's kind of why
Yeah.
I like Shiva Baby.
That's why I have it on my list. Exactly.
Yeah. But no, Boiling Point sounds really cool. Actually, I don't
I
think
highly
I've heard of
recommend it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
highly recommend it. You got to check that one out, especially if you're a fan of long takes, one shot films.
Oh yeah, I can get into those. They move fast. I mean, they
Impressive too. I just love the technological impressiveness of how it's
yeah,
like they got to be on it.
yeah,
And like there's like a shot like right on in the beginning, that they do a selfie, like just, okay, we're about to open. They do like a crew selfie, and then like at the end credit, they just show that selfie too. And it's like, they
nice.
kept that in, like somehow they got all the tech to work, like just regular,
That's
not like green screening it in, because that's wouldn't really necessarily work with a one take like
right.
this. And yeah, it just flows fantastically. The characters are all realistic and believable.
Yeah, that sounds really, really good.
Yeah, check it out. Boiling Point.
Boiling Point, most definitely.
Yeah. Okay, we're on number 4.
Yeah.
All right, my number 4 is Shang-Chi.
Nice. All right. All right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I'm more into Marvel than you guys, I know, but
It's all
No,
good.
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good
Yeah.
one.
it's just
Yeah.
Marvel.
Francis Ford Coppola can fuck off.
Yeah.
But go on.
But yeah, Marvel martial arts movie. Like, yeah.
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 I actually did like Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
I mean,
Okay, yes, that's right.
We're white. Shang-Chi is acceptable.
Yeah.
We're trying our
Alright.
best here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Shang-Chi. I actually did like Shang-Chi a lot. And the ending did kind of make me feel emotional. And the martial arts scenes were actually pretty well done too.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know.
Hell
I
yeah.
thought it was like, yeah, pretty.
Yeah. The bus scene. It's awesome.
Ah, the bus
Yeah.
scene was great. I even liked that skyscraper when they're fighting on the outside of the building thing.
Yeah,
That was
that
really
was
cool.
cool. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people really liked No Way Home, and I did too. And I'm sure you guys, maybe you have it on your lists, so we can talk about that more when we get to it. But I mean, for me though, I actually would say my favorite MCU movie that came out this year was Shang-Chi.
That was the first movie I saw back in the theater too.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, my number 4 is Censor. I yeah, well, I mean, so one thing I really loved about that the movie Censor was like, even though I guess one could say that the twist, quote unquote, was predictable, I suppose. Like, where I guess now I could get into spoiler territory. So like how the main girl is, it turns out like she like is like going crazy, and that like like all this shit that she's seeing and stuff, it's like she's hallucinating, and she's like kind of, it's like a paranoid fantasy type of thing. Like, so where she goes off the deep end. Excuse me. You could see it coming. You could see the plot sort of developing in that direction. But what I love about the film is how like it makes up for that by being like so technically like with it. It feels like the type of movie that would have actually like wound up on the Video Nasties list, which is what the movie is sort of, you know, exploring, is like not only this mindset of like how people, like the kind of rationale people had in the early 80s in the UK during the censor board period, but it also sort of explores like the mental psychology of somebody who is a censor themselves, you know, somebody who wants to bar somebody else or other people from seeing something because they personally don't like it. You know, it's a film that actually is sort of exploring that headspace a little bit. And, you know, throughout the film, you get sort of glimpses of what her sort of fantasized reality is. At one point, she goes to a video store and she looks at a tape, and it's like Happy Fun World, rainbow house fence, white picket fence, like all that type of thing on the cover. And that's like scary, like suburban hell type shit, which is like, ugh. Like, to me, that's more terrifying than most of the movies that are on the Video Nasties list, you know? And then at the end, like, where she goes completely off the deep end and she's just so far gone that you don't even know, like, what her reality is anymore. Just the last minute of the movie, its use of subliminal imagery, so freaking terrifying. I thought it was a really scary movie, honestly. Probably the scariest movie I've seen this year, so far, or last year, I should say, so far. I mean, I haven't seen every horror movie that came out last year, but it was one that like, it stuck with me. I don't know how else to put it. Like, I really, really liked it.
I got a horror movie on my honorable mention that was one of the scariest I've seen in a while, but I'll leave that
Yeah.
for then.
Nice. All right. Cool.
So my turn for number 4.
Yeah.
So this is, I'll just say the honorable mention that I kicked off on number 4 was Minari.
Oh,
And I kicked it off because it was nominated last year, but it was still a 2021 film. So
yeah.
I was like, where are we in this one? I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was quite charmed by it. You know, A24, they always kill it, you know.
Yeah.
So,
But my real number 4 is my real number 4 is Shiva Baby.
nice.
Yeah, I just connected with it so well because I get that, because it was shot really close up. Like it takes, so I don't know, spoileriness. Takes place in just over a Shiva party, which I don't know how many people know what those are. It's basically like an after funeral thing for Jewish people.
Yeah.
It follows, yeah, like the reception. I don't know what they're called after the funeral in regular
Yeah.
terms, but yeah, it's one of those.
Or-
It follows a girl that's kind of lost. She doesn't know what she's doing. Which I relate to heavily, but she turns to being like a sugar baby kind of thing. You know, dating, having little relationship with guys just to get money. But it turns out she doesn't really need the money. Her parents are loaded and giving her money, and
Yeah.
so she's just doing it to, I don't know, find herself kind of thing. She's and then so I did definitely relate to her with on that
Yeah.
that aspect, but also just like how it was shot was like, so it was like all close up, like because it was in a small house, cramped, tons of people, everyone nagging her about like, oh, what are you doing, what's your life, how's it going, and she's like so uncomfortable with it, like, which I am too,
Yeah.
like my mom is this kind of she's kind of the same way, that she wants to show me off in front of her friends and hype me up when I don't feel like I qualify for that kind of shit. Like, I'm like, no, mom, just leave me alone. Let me sit in the corner. I'm here. Let me just chill out. But like, there's that hit with me too. And then just the entire, like, I'm an introvert. There's just way too many people in that movie just coming around,
Yeah.
bumping into people. Like, like, that's why it's like a horror movie for me. Like,
Yeah.
I just felt so tense during the entire thing, and the score helped immensely with it. It was
No,
like
yeah.
just so intense to watch, even though it was a nothing really happened particularly, besides like the drama of one of her like the basic drama was one of her sugar daddies is at the shiv and knows the people she's, there for, and that's the main drama of it that's pushing the plot forward.
Yeah.
It's really intense too, and just how everything ends up. And
Oh yeah.
it's a nice short film too. It's just like doesn't drag on any longer than it needs to be, and
Yeah. It's shorter than Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. Like, see that instead. Like,
Yeah, oh, 100%.
yeah.
This is a movie anyone
Yeah.
should see.
Yeah, see Shiva Baby for sure.
Yeah.
It's really good, honestly.
Yeah.
No, 100% agree with you. Like, yeah, no, it's easy to the main character is very easy to identify with. It's easy to feel. So many people can understand kind of the way she feels in certain ways, I feel like. And yeah, she's experimenting with sex. She's, kind of trying to do something outside of her own sort of suffocating circle.
And she
And
doesn't like what really, like, she doesn't know what she wants in life too. When there's like a breakdown scene where she's just like, I don't know, and it's like, ah, fuck, neither do I.
yeah,
I feel you.
and it hits close to home for sure.
Yeah.
There are several cathartic moments that are short but sharp, and the ending is also a killer too.
I loved the ending. I loved it. It was
I
so
loved it
funny.
too.
It was so fucking funny.
It was absolutely hysterical. You like have knots in your stomach, but it's so funny.
Yeah,
and it ends, and
you wonder
love
like,
it.
oh, is this gonna go shit? And
Yeah.
I want to see it to go shit, but the way it ended is even just as perfect.
Yeah. And the credits start rolling, and it's just in that moment you feel like her at that moment,
Yeah.
just sitting like uncomfortably still. Like, oh yeah, it's a good movie. That's on my honorable mentions for sure. I wanted to put it on my top 10, but I just didn't quite make the cut. So,
Yep. That's one I saw today too.
yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
What a day.
Yeah, right. I also was looking for just short ones to jam in there.
Yeah.
So
Oh, Shiva Baby's an excellent one.
yeah.
Rewatch it now.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's good.
It's good to rewatch since it's not long, It's like
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
longer than a Netflix hour procedural thing. Like,
Yeah. Oh, and also like I know that like because a lot of people like might feel a little like tentative about the movie because Shiva Baby, like it is like a very Jewish thing, but honestly like it's wicked easy to follow. It's not confusing. It doesn't
Yeah,
throw
I
a
mean-
bunch of stuff at you that you don't understand or
yeah,
anything
if you've watched really anything, you
yeah.
like if you watch Seinfeld, you'll get it. Like,
Oh yeah, like this is like lightweight compared to Seinfeld. I mean, it's really pretty easy to follow. It's not good. It's actually less confusing than most movies of this that like are about like Jewish people. Like I'd say this film is actually like more easy to follow. So
yeah, no.
Okay. Speaking of A24, my number 3 is The Green Knight.
Ah,
Nice.
cool.
Nice. That's an honorable mention for me.
Yeah. Honorable mention for me too.
Yeah, it's a good slow burn, unlike Power of the Dog.
Yeah.
Some folklore stuff I haven't heard before, so that was interesting.
Yeah.
I actually read, so there's, I guess it's based on a longer book, but I read like there was a children's story version of it. That's took like a 30-40 minutes to read because my friend Washington said, oh, you probably want to read this real quick before you'll not know what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, like I got it, and I think I would have without having to read it. So it's the friend that didn't like pigs, so I was like,
Oh.
all right, I can understand why you didn't get it.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, A24 always kills it. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're real good.
Yeah, definitely. There were a few A24 movies that I saw that came out last year that were really good. That was one that almost made the list. And then I also watched that what do you call it? That Joaquin Phoenix movie, the Come On, Come On. I watched that. Yeah.
I wanted to do that one before this. Yeah.
It didn't make my list, but that's another honorable mention. It made my heart ache, as somebody who is an uncle and hasn't seen their nephew for a couple years. It was very, very touching. But no, that didn't make my list. And then I also saw that one Lamb. Did you see that?
I just saw it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you like it? Or
I liked it. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but
I want
That
to see
was-
it.
Oh, what?
yeah.
I just said I want to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say something, but it'd probably ruin the ending, so I'll wait.
Oh yeah. I was very because I did see it. I was quite confused by it, but
I think I know, like, because I've seen a little reviews of it. I kind of know
Yeah.
what the ending was.
well, I yeah, check it out. We can talk about it once you watch it and we'll discuss it. Same with Power of the Dog. Like we will reserve our thoughts, on it. I had mixed feelings about both Power of the Dog and Lamb. But I think both would be interesting to kind of discuss briefly at some point. So if you ever get around to those two, yeah. Yeah.
Will do.
Yeah. So my number 3.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 3 is and I'm not quite sure when this movie was made. It might have been made this year, but it might have been made last year. I feel like I've been seeing the poster for at least 2 years, so I have no clue. But my number 3 choice is Benedetta, the new Paul Verhoeven film. It's definitely a Paul Verhoeven film. But what makes this one special? Okay, you can tell it's my type of movie 100%. It takes place in a 17th century convent. It's about a nun exploring her sexuality, and it's based on a true story. It's based on a true book. It is Paul Verhoeven in Paul Verhoeven mode 100%. He's the director of Showgirls, so we all know what that means. And, Total Recall and all those movies. Like, he makes movies that, for whatever reason, hit the spot. And this one, for me, I loved it so much I watched it twice. Like, I don't know. There's just something about a movie about a deranged, perverted nun that I just can't get enough of. And for me, it was a magical experience to watch, to think about. Sure, it had some sacrilegious elements, one could argue, but it was charming. I don't know. It's Benedetta. Like, what can I say? There's a nipple on the poster.
Hey, I'm in.
Yeah.
Modern nunsploitation.
I mean, I don't want to call it nunsploitation, but I guess it kind of fits into that category, although I think it's more sincere.
Okay.
I mean, like she has like I don't know. You just watch it. Yeah.
Huh. One, I
Um,
mean, in the general, unless you have something else or.
Oh, I was just gonna say it was probably about on par with his movie Elle. Anyway, yeah. Go on.
I was just gonna go off a quick tangent, like one I saw, like Nun type. It was a horror, and I didn't put it on the list. I did watch it during my binge of these movies. Saint Maud.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Nice.
it was just a 2017, so I was like, that's way too far out for this. But
No.
Yeah, I think it got released a little later. I don't know. That was a weird one.
Yeah, it got
Yeah.
delayed
yeah, that
Like-
one.
for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
More
Didn't I-
A24.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
another
they're
A24,
goddamn
yeah.
good.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one yet. I have it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, same here.
It's good. It's good.
Good. It looks good. Looks like something I'd enjoy.
I mean, in the same thing, if you liked Censor, yeah, it's kind of that kind of same mindset, at least, just a different kind of,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah,
That same
I-
kind of horror, I guess, without the, yeah.
Right. Like the whole idea of like somebody who basically becomes a sexual path, like a psychopath out of sexual repression or like some kind of social repression or like a repressive like personality or repressive reaction. That's a really
Yep.
interesting idea for a story for me, like in my view. And so yeah, I definitely, maybe that's why I love Censor so much, but I definitely will have to see Saint Maud because it looked 100% like that type of movie.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely
Cool.
not nail on the head. No, whatever they
Nice.
say. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Saint Maud. I'll definitely add it to my watch list. I mean, it's already on my watch list. I own it. So like I'm gonna watch it anyway. But yeah, I'm waiting for just that special time.
hmm Okay. My number 3 now?
Yes.
Okay. My number 3 was Licorice Pizza.
Aw.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good. Like number 3 for a reason. I mean, I love Paul Thomas Anderson.
Me too.
I unfortunately haven't seen like Phantom Thread. And what was the one before he did before that one?
Oh, Inherent Vice.
Oh no, I've seen that one.
Oh, okay.
I did like that one, but
Yeah.
not as my favorite Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
And then
The
this one is
Master- oh,
and
the
I like
Master is the only one. Oh, well, yeah. Go on.
what about you? I was about to. What was the Master?
Oh, I was just gonna quickly say the Master is the only one of his I've seen. I think that didn't quite click for me, But I'm gonna give that one another shot at some point. So
I liked it enough.
yeah,
It's interesting.
the performances were great.
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Shit, his
Yeah.
son, like his son's the main character in this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cooper Hoffman. Yeah,
Yeah, he did an excellent job.
yeah, that's awesome. He looks a lot like him. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And like the main female protagonist is what's her
From
name?
Ham.
Haim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't
And
remember
like
what-
and like I went on a little not a big binge, but their music's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really good. And I I was like, oh man, I might be a fan of these gals now.
Yeah.
Because actually their whole family is in it. Like the two
Oh,
sisters of the two sisters of the band are her real sisters her sisters in the movie. They don't change even their names either. They
Oh,
play
wow.
their names, their real life names in the movie, and even their parents are actually in the movie as well as their parents.
Nice.
And like their dad is just hilarious too.
Yeah.
In pure Paul Thomas Anderson ways,
That sounds good. Yeah.
and it's like it's funny too because like it's a coming of age story too,
Yeah.
where I mean the lead actors are a little goofy looking, like
That's good. Like they have like
Hoffman.
stars and
Yeah, like Hoffman's all acneed up, like real, and his teeth aren't like what you'd expect Philip Seymour Hoffman's son to be. Like, you figured he'd fix them up, No,
Yeah.
no offense, of course, to him at all or anything.
Right.
Like, the main gal of it is pretty, of course, very
Yeah.
pretty, but still like not movie star, like movie.
Yeah, unconventionally pretty.
Yes, very, and like it's just really refreshing to see normal people in a movie. To be honest, like
Yeah.
that was one of the great things. It's a fairly simple movie. There's not like a huge plot. Takes
Yeah.
place in the 70s, coming of age.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's like so it's I don't know how much you haven't seen it, so I don't want
I
to
mean,
say
it doesn't. I gather that it's kind of more of like a slice of life type of thing,
yes,
like
definitely
where it's like
100%.
it's not really like a plot story, but it's more just kind of like sequence, like a series of sequences, kind of.
Yep. Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just like that, yeah.
Cool.
It's
All
like
right.
like the
So
main
then-
character, it's like the dichotomy of Hoffman. He's a teenager trying to be older than he is.
Yeah.
You know, he's somehow like I don't know how realistic it could like there's I mean it's funny and awesome and great, but he starts businesses up and shit and successfully does it as a kid, really.
It
but he
takes
gets
place in like the San Fernando Valley, right?
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's possible that like he just happened to be in a a good enough location, like.
Oh, and he's charismatic as fuck. Like
Oh
he,
yeah, that
he
would
like
help.
he like oozes charisma and like that's why like because one of the controversial points that's I mean no spoiler at all because it's said
Yeah,
right in the
it's in the
beginning
trailer.
it's their 10 there's a 10-year age gap. He's 15 and she's 25.
Yeah.
So they kind of are mostly business partners for the most like he's of course pining for her and everything and
Yeah.
there's always the buffering off from her end and everything, but there's still jealousy on her end when he actually starts going for girls his age and just a little
Right.
bit of back and forth.
Yeah. I mean,
But
I can
in
imagine like in the time, particularly in the 70s, like where like, because nowadays, like when it comes to like sex and relationships and stuff, people are a lot more open and vocal about it. But in the 70s, like it was like a different atmosphere, and a lot of things kind of went on like unsaid more
Yeah.
often, and so like people would be thrown into these situations where like they weren't really sure how to feel or how to navigate or what was right, what wasn't. I mean, so
yeah, and then just to finish, it was like, and then so yeah, Hoffman's I forget that Cooper. He's trying to be
Hoffman.
older, and then it's like the other on the opposite end, she's trying to relive her youth through him.
Yeah.
It's funny as fuck. There's just some funny scenes of her just looking at him, just goofing off with his teenage friends, and she's like, "Oh, well, what am I doing?" But she still
Yeah.
does it because she misses those days, and like she's always constantly asking her sisters and friends, "Is like, do you think it's weird I'm hanging out with a 15-year-old?" And they're like, and they say like, I don't know, he's cool, whatever, he's cool.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then yeah, I
Cool.
think I mean it's a solid PTA movie, probably way up there with
Nice.
for me. Like I love There Will Be Blood, of course.
Yeah.
But that's just a little hardcore serious ish
Yeah.
more than
There Will
and
Be
this one's
Blood is
just-
definitely a hardcore movie.
this one. So I'd probably put this Boogie Nights is up there too though. So
Boogie Nights is really good.
fuck. Like Punch Drunk Love.
I also really
Boogie-
love Magnolia. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Oh yeah, that's
Personally, I'm a
great
big
one,
fan of
too.
Magnolia.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
So
might
I'd
be my
put this one.
favorite one.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
I would put this one at least 2 or 3 tied maybe with Boogie Nights in different scenes because Boogie Nights is fucking hilarious and awesome. But this one is just I love coming of age slice of life movies, and
I do too.
and I'll say just there is one slight downfall, which is just the literal last line of the movie they could have not done and it would have been better. They could have done everything up to it, and I think it was even 80 yard. It seemed like,
Oh,
and I don't know why he did it.
oh,
you'll-
was it like bad like final lines that just didn't add anything, or
It didn't it didn't not add anything. It just made it weird, kind of like
Uh.
you'll have to see it to understand it. Like it is the main complaint that people say, besides the age gap thing, which I think people are blowing out of proportion, in my
Right.
opinion. Like, yes, it's taboo, weird, awkward in a logical, general sense, but like
I mean,
he's
I've
not
seen-
saying it's a good thing. He's never saying that it's a good thing in the movie. And that
I mean, I've watched Harold and Maude. I've watched like Call Me by Your Name. Like I'm
Yeah.
moving on.
yeah,
But
Yep.
I'm sure like if the final line in the movie is the girl turning to him and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck your brains out," I'm still probably gonna think it's a decent movie. So
it's
like I'm
honestly,
not gonna suddenly hate
yeah.
it just because that's the last line or anything like that. So
it's close to that, but not that.
right, okay.
But yeah, licorice pizza, man, loved it.
Excellent. All right. Well, I definitely would like to see it. I think I'm probably just gonna wait for it to come out on streaming more than likely. So just because I just
here.
I just don't have the time at the moment, unfortunately, to go to the theater.
Andy's being stingy with it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Super short releases. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I know. That's Wes Anderson sort of does the same thing sometimes with his
Yeah.
movies too. He'll like put them in a theater for like a half a week and then be like, "Oh, actually, I'll just put this here." You know. So, and it's just, you know, you
Those
can't keep up-
Andersons, something about them,
I know. Why doesn't Paul W.S. Anderson do that with his movies?
right?
You know, he
Does
puts
it-
his movies in too
almost-
many film theaters. Like,
Right?
yeah, like he should swap out the Resident Evil movies for like
Yeah.
other stuff once in a while. Like, all right. I think we're on number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So my number 2, Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Cool.
Nice. Yes.
Finally get all 3 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that I almost had it on my list, but
Yeah.
like, because I as much as I do love, fuck, how to word? I love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So like just that in general, and then this is a good take on it. Just it was good. You go on. Yeah.
I don't know. I just like as a Marvel person, I like all the multiverse shit coming in. So
Oh yeah, it was so much fun.
yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was gonna be on my list, but I just had to boot it.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I loved it though. I can't like it would be high up there if I yeah.
Another Zendaya one on the list, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
popping off, that girl.
Yeah. Yeah. And now I gotta get what's that? I need to actually sit down and check out Euphoria because I heard that was a good.
Yeah, I really
sure.
want to see that too.
Yeah.
I keep seeing stuff for that.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
But yeah, Spider-Man: No Way Home. I think I liked it more than Avengers Endgame.
I did.
Yeah.
Personally.
A lot
Yeah.
less plot holes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved it. It was probably my favorite Marvel movie so far.
Yeah. It was good.
And also just of course the like they did it. They brought back Toby and
Yeah.
Garfield. Like, goddamn.
I
Yeah.
know that was awesome.
It was so good to see. They
Yeah.
did the pointing meme thing and
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
just
that
fan
was-
service all the way. Really well done fan service shit too. Fuck.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard like cheering in the theater in a long time either.
Yeah.
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 There was a lot of sharing.
Yeah.
It was so good.
And everybody's in love with Andrew Garfield again.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's like
Yeah.
pushes to get Amazing Spider-Man 3 made.
Yeah.
And he was like, where the
Also-
fuck were you 10 years ago?
Yeah. Like where were you folks? And he was in that Tick Tick Boom movie he got nominated for.
Want to
Which
see
I
that.
actually I did see it actually. It was good. It was really good.
I didn't realize it was a musical.
It is a musical, but it's not it's not too. It's not like it doesn't overdo it really, in my opinion.
Because
With
I
the
know how
music
I am with
numbers.
musicals. So
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not
I'm not a
Cats.
fan.
I promise. No buttholes.
oh damn.
Damn it!
Sorry. Sorry.
Once the butthole cut gets released, we have to do it.
Yeah.
But
Somebody
until then,
will
no.
like fan create it, like just superimpose buttholes on all of the characters.
I'm sure
Or
someone
someone-
eventually will.
Yeah, probably. I might have to be the one to do it. My number 2 choice. It's another documentary. It's The Rescue. It's have either of you seen this one or heard of it?
No.
Heard of it?
Okay.
Isn't it that Chilean
It's
one?
the one,
Or
it's
is it
the
like
one-
you go? Yeah, I don't know.
it's the okay, so there was that situation that happened several years ago, where there was that Thai soccer boys team
Yes,
that got
the
stuck in
soccer
the
team
cavern.
one, yeah.
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 So it's a documentary about the rescuers who actually like went to go and like rescue these kids, and just how like the whole process of like first they had to like determine where these kids even were, which that whole part was like a complicated process in and of itself. And then once they get to that point, they had to figure out like some sort of suitable strategy to actually get these kids from one place to another without them drowning. And it was like this whole complicated thing. And they ended up actually having to, well, I mean, I don't want to, I mean, I'm sure if you've read all about the story, you know what they did, but like they eventually had to give the kids like I don't think this has been done before. They had to give these kids a combination of like sedative and like ketamine, and like transport them out of the caves. But they had to like give them an oxygen mask so they wouldn't like literally drown. And it was just this crazy thing. And the way the film is made, like they show, so like people were filming like themselves like during the situation, during the actual like rescue scenario, but the film also uses reenactment footage as well, but you totally can't tell the difference between the two. And I think they even had the original divers like play themselves in the reenactment footage and dive into the like those locations again. Like they really like went like full on like comprehensive, like from start to finish, like everything that these divers did. And the film like it also explores the like the personalities of the divers themselves. And these divers are like they're pretty shy people. Like they're not people type persons at all. They're like pretty nervous, sort of like nervous disposition type of like lonely, strange guys living in Thailand. Like you don't even know who the hell they are. But like I just find it incredible that they like felt that they all just sort of collectively felt motivated to like rescue like this group of kids in this flooded cavern. It's just a really well done, really beautifully constructed documentary that just makes you feel like you're there, and it's very emotional. The footage of them actually discovering the kids is in this, and that part is pretty scary because like when you see them, they're really like they hadn't been eating or anything, so they look pretty bad. They're all pretty thin and freaked out. But yeah, it was a beautiful film. I would highly recommend it. The Rescue. That's my number 2 choice.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
It's excellent. I think it's also on Disney Plus. I don't know what it is. Disney Plus has been killing it with the documentaries lately.
Because they own National Geographic.
Oh, that's why. Now I know your tricks. Disney.
Yeah, they just own everything now.
Yeah, yeah, they do. It's scary.
It's such a bummer. Oh, and just to let you know, they don't talk about the whole Elon Musk like Twitter fight thing in this. That's not in this. Just to clear the air, Elon Musk does not get brought up. So,
Good.
Yeah,
He doesn't need to.
yeah. He's not a part of the story. Like, yeah, that was an interesting thing, but it's irrelevant.
Okay. Well, my number 2 was Pig.
Nice.
Like as I mentioned before, I loved it. Loved it,
Okay.
loved it, loved it.
Okay. Excellent. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
What, like, I don't know, what was your like initial reaction to it when you watched it?
well, beautifully shot. Of course, it was amazingly shot. I loved the pig, of course.
Yeah. Me
It was just
too.
so cute. He had just that connection with him, and so I mean, it's so hard because like you feel for him, like it's like a dog basically. Like
Yeah.
it's like oh, and then just the emotional tones of like the overall themes of like love and loss and companionship, and that
Yeah.
was hit perfectly. The uh shit, where how do I even
I mean, I liked how like both Nicolas Cage, like Nicolas Cage wasn't the only character that evolved. I feel like, you know,
yeah, the kid from Dev Patel, I don't remember his name in the movie.
yeah, I forget what he was, the kid from Hereditary.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the actor's name is, but
Is it not Dev Patel or is it someone
no,
else?
it's not Dev Patel. It's
Let me see real quick.
yeah, I'm not remembering.
Am
But
I
his
just being
character-
racist?
Oh, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, Alex Wolf.
Oh, okay, that's right. All right, yeah,
That's
Alex.
right. I remember that
It's
now.
kind of that's easy. That's an easy name to forget. I feel like I know an Alex Wolf in my own life. Like that's kind of a I feel like that's like a common name or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um.
And I liked like they, Nick Cage is a somewhat like in the beginning you don't really know what he is. He's just a loner out in the woods, and then
Yeah.
he's just selling truffles to this kid with his pig. There's the kidnap, which ensues which starts the plot.
Yeah.
And I love the interactions with him, with Cage and Alex. He's like so like he's tears down the pretentiousness of it. It's like in that first scene where they're driving out to go start asking around where the pig is, he's listening to classic,
Yeah.
like not even classical music. It's like some guy speaking about classical music and why this will always stand the test of time. And
Right.
Cage just like keeps turning it off, turning it off, turning
That
it
was
off.
funny. Yeah.
And he's so fed up with all that shit, and like
Yeah.
and then it's just like it's like just a beautiful thing. Like he says it eventually. I don't exactly remember when. He's just like, "Oh, none of this is real. Like this, none of this is everything that because like that whole industry of being so pretentious with that food, with that stupid smoke shit is all bullshit. Like fuck that.
All
There's
guys.
like, and then like these." Like just him tearing down that industry as well is hilarious, or the movie tearing it down at least.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of think Nicolas Cage is going to do it, but really the film it's aiming for something higher than that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved the scene where he goes to that one restaurant, well, I also love that eventually he lets people know his name, and then like
Yeah.
the kid even knows who he is. He's like, what? What the fuck? And then after that, he's just kissing his ass the whole time. He's like doing whatever he says. Like at first he was giving him shit, just saying, "You're a loser, hermit. You wouldn't be nothing without me." And then once he finds out who he is, he's like, "Oh my god!" I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the movie, even though the film did have a little bit more of a solemn feel, it did have a little jabs of dark humor here and there.
Mhm.
Like, not like too much though. It was like
Yeah.
somewhat understated, I guess.
And so what I liked that once he was going to ask more about, they're on the search for the pigs, getting clues. They go to that one restaurant,
Yeah.
where he's talking to one of his like trainees from way back when, who's now owns this crazy good 5-star restaurant. They set him up for free just because of who he is. Nick Cage just puts a finger in one of his foods and doesn't really even eat it or anything. And just the interaction between him and that that chef was amazing. Like
Yeah.
you could like that actor, in my opinion, should get like even because he's only in that one scene, but he should have gotten easily a best supporting acting role, even if
Okay.
he was just in that one scene, because of how he reacts to the things, the truth bombs Nick Cage was dropping. Like,
Yeah.
come on, he was like goading him, like, you know, this isn't what you want. What did you want? Like, how did you? And you see his face, like pure acting. His face is like so fake, and so I'm like, no, I love it. And then like slowly just starts deteriorating. And he's like, he just blushed out. I wanted to have a pub. My special would be like it was like some pub fry kind of concoction. I wanted to have 2 rooms up top where we can rent out. I just wanted a nice pub with it. And you could just see just how he broke down. And
Yeah.
oh, that was like one of my, that was my, I can't tell, like that was really that, and like the last scene was probably, or the climactic scene was,
Yeah.
they're really just really good on that.
Yeah, I mean, I really, because like it did feel like the world of this film was lived in. Like it felt like, because like it just in that one moment alone when he was like when he was choking up and reliving like the past and what he used to feel and what he wanted to do and stuff. Just in that, like there was like that was a character that was really well written, and then like.
And Nick
Also,
Cage was like, just like he knew, he's like a chef savant. He memorized every dish he ever made, so he knew exactly what that guy was about. And like, that was really good too. That was really interesting.
And I like that their relationship never was like, it never reached a point where it wasn't shaky. Like it was still shaky even in their last moments together. Like they never quite broke that ice.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, and then like. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to spoil the ending or not, but like
maybe I will, because I love the ending. So I'll just go a little bit, hit some plot points. There was that the one thing that was a little weird was that Fight Club scene.
oh, and like it's like the underground sort of, yeah, because at that point in the film you're not even sure if Nicolas Cage's character is like a good guy or if he's like,
Yeah,
if he, like might have been a criminal at one point, and then
you kind of wonder, like it's a little out of place, I felt, but it still was interesting as fuck to see.
Yeah,
I liked how he like knew like the because it's underground, the city of Portland or Seattle, one of those two.
Yeah, it was Portland. Yeah.
Portland. So like he just walked into some random restaurant, started moving shelves around, started crawling through a hole in the wall, and made it down to this weird ass kind of Fight Clubby scene where it wasn't a fight club, but they were, I don't know what exactly it was, but they were like, you know, we're getting new hires. You would throw money down and people would just beat the shit out of you and see how long you could stand. It was some kind of betting thing.
It was strange because it was also like retired cooks or something like that. Yeah, at that point you're still kind of trying to figure out what the morality of the Nicolas Cage character is, but you kind of reach a point in the film where it doesn't even matter anymore, like because like you still want him to get his pick back whether or not he's a good guy or a bad guy. Like it's, and so yeah, like the whole scene was definitely quite the introduction toward like the second act of the film. You know, and once you kind of get out of the dark underground stuff, it's kind of when the film, you know, becomes more interesting on like a human level, you know?
We see more of, you know, Alex Wolff's character's background. His dad's like some kind of mafia guy.
And that stuff was really interesting too.
I love that shit. Like his mom, still not clear on, because it's left ambiguous on purpose. Like he said she committed suicide, but we do see her in the vegetative state eventually, so she may have tried and just ended up that way.
That part's kind of vague.
And Alex Wolff, he mentions like when just over a conversation he's having with Cage that your dish is what led to my parents falling in love. Like they had this amazing night with your dish, which then eventually leads to the climax of the movie of
the quote unquote showdown.
It was so good, dude. So good. Like you see him doing like And I was actually kind of surprised. I don't think a lot of people were, but I was, because I was just like, oh, he's making a dish with this mafia dude's son who knows where the pig is, because he said, he wasn't telling you, you can either get out here or I'll kill it, or
Yeah.
whatever. And they make a dish. And I thought it was going to be like Nick Cage showing up to his dad saying, see, your son's not worthless like you think he is. He made this dish. He picked out this wine. He has some potential. You're a bad dad, dude. But it wasn't even that. It was that, like, on, like, they didn't say that, but that's, implied at least. And then, like,
Right.
the actual hit was that they made the dish that his dad fell in love with his mom with. And you see him take a bite and he's like, oh no.
Yeah. Because now he knows, like,
and then he,
no
like,
way out.
he sips the wine and, like, he just starts crying. And I started crying and bawling. I was like, oh, they're doing this. Fuck, this is so good.
Yeah.
And then he just gets up and leaves, and, like, oh, so good.
Yeah.
And, like, and then it just comes to that confrontation back in the that is just amazing, where, like, you find out that the tweakers actually mishandled the pig and it died anyway. And which is,
and the rest of the movie is
you think you're still kind of wondering, is Nick Cage gonna snap here? But no, he just breaks down, cries uncontrollably, sobs for the loss. Which, again, something's skipping. I mean, I'm spoiling the whole fucking movie, but it's like, the pig is also the reason why he kind of got out of the biz is the loss of his wife, and that was, the pig was his only connection to that. So
exactly.
And there's, like, a scene where like, Alex asks why we can just get another pig. And he's like, no, I love that pig. And it was like, oh no, he loves his wife. It's all that kind of stuff. And it's just, like,
it wasn't even about the pig's, like, truffle hunting abilities. I mean, it was a truffle pig, but it was, like, it wasn't the fact that the pig was so good at hunting truffles that
he even says he says, I don't even need the pig. And he asks, like, well, then why are we doing this? Is because I love it.
And
he's like, well, do you fuck it? No, I don't fuck my pig.
Which, of course, they had to ask that question.
And, like, Nick Cage actually finds the truffles on his own, really, by the moss that grows on trees and shit. And the movie ends great. Like, they both grew up, moved on. He's just, like, it ends with, Nick Cage, I'll take a walk back. Sure, it's like 10 miles. And he's like, yeah, see you on Thursday. So they're continuing their relationship, and Alex Wolff kind of chills in his car and starts crying, and
this feels like a failure because he screwed up. And this Nicolas Cage listens to the song that his former wife, like, recorded.
Oh, that scene was beautiful as well. Yes. And and then I loved just, like, because at the beginning you see him cooking up some kind of stew that doesn't necessarily look crazily appetizing, right? Like, it's just like something that someone would cook over a campfire. But once you see, like, how good of a chef he is, you see the panoramic of his little shed, and then you see all his cooking utensils perfectly lined up like an actual chef. Everything's in order, even though the rest of his fucking shed's is mess. But his cooking thing, he's like, oh, I bet that fucking stew in the beginning was dank.
Undoubtedly. And it's just so cool how, like, the film sort of shifts your overall, like, perception of the character, like, from being, like, this reclusive, dirty, strange, fella in the middle of nowhere to, like, this guy who's left at the end with really nothing but his thoughts and trying to kind of sort out, like, why he has to keep sacrificing things that he loves in his life. It's just
and you also just get the idea that he's actually moving on. He's like, he accepted the loss. He's like, I'll see you next Thursday, man.
The shining little sliver of light.
Beautiful movie.
It was. You saw that one, Zach, right?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Rambled on a little bit about that.
Well, it's
I had to.
I mean, it's
I had to. I had to.
Yeah, no, honestly is really an excellent film. So.
Well, my number one is Pig.
Oh, well, how funny.
Nice. It's awesome.
Yeah, I loved it. I didn't expect it. Like I said earlier, I was expecting Crazy Cage,
Yeah, same.
but
He
luckily,
looks the part.
yeah, luckily I was in the mood for this, and yeah,
Yeah, I was in the mood when I was in the right mood when I watched it as well. It just hit all the right
Oh yeah,
notes.
same here.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. We can't lavish the praises enough. It's just see it.
Yeah, it's unbelievably good.
yeah.
No,
so
no, I
good.
wish I didn't spoil it for any listeners, but
Well, yeah. If you well, whatever you can. Put
it's
a
still
spoiler.
good to see. It's like
Yeah,
just everything about it is still good to see, even if you know the plot.
That's
yeah. I
Nick
agree.
Nick Cage's best performance in a long time, probably.
Yep,
Yeah, I agree.
easy. Yeah.
All right. Well, good number one choice.
Did
My
you have
number-
anything more to say about it, or just?
Oh,
Not
I know
really.
I went on long, so
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
it's
stole your
alright.
thunder.
No, you know,
Yeah,
me,
overall-
I don't elaborate much, so you
Oh,
good.
well. Yeah, no. Whenever you feel the need. Okay, so yeah, my number one choice for my favorite film that came out last year is Titane.
Yep, that's where I
Yeah.
thought you'd put it.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like with a lot of French films, the one thing that kind of bums me out about a lot, not all French movies, but a lot of French movies, I feel like tend to go out of their way to sort of put the audience at an emotional distance. But this film did the exact opposite, like at least for me, because like at the beginning, like you're this girl, like you're still not really, obviously, like you don't really like what she's doing, but at the same time, like you still like want to see like what happens and where, like what's going to happen to her next. I mean, because she becomes pregnant, and like by having sex with a car. Okay, so I guess I'll just sort of explain the film real
Yeah, you
quick.
can't go past that.
Yeah, you have to
it's like-
mention that.
Yeah, I mean, really, that is sort of the most unusual thing about the main plot. But okay, so this girl, when she's a kid, she gets into a car accident, and she ends up having a titanium plate put in her head, and so then it jumps ahead. She's like 18, 19, 20 years old. She's like some 20-year-old girl. I lost track of the ages. But it is kind of important for like later on in the plot. But so she is now sort of a model, and she's doing like sort of like as you see her as an adult, she's like dancing. She's like a dancing model, but she's also like a serial killer. And in the midst of like killing people and modeling, she fucks a car and then gets pregnant. Then after that happens, she starts to kind of like discover, like people are like on her trail, and are starting to kind of get a reading on her. So she has to kind of shift. She has to change her identity. So she decides to basically she assumes an alternate personality of a child that went missing some years ago, like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, I forget how many years ago it was. This father's son went missing, and so she basically cuts her hair and dresses like the son, and shows up at this guy's
Bashes her
house.
face in.
Yeah, she mangles her face to.
That was the
to-
the most body horror part of, I think. It's just
Yeah,
her smashing her face on a sink.
that was pretty nasty. Yeah, and like basically like her face looks different now. So she shows up at the guy's house, and the father. So this is when the film starts to get really emotionally complex, because the father, like on one hand, like it's kind of, you can understand why like he might want to like believe that this person is his lost son, and that like by like bringing him in, like he can somehow like reclaim what was lost. But then on the other hand, you can also sort of maybe wager the possibility that this is a guy who has been so devastated by the loss of his son that he kind of forgoes reason and sort of like doesn't really care that this person
Yeah.
is his son or not. Like he just, wants that void to be filled.
Yeah, you kind of get that. I think you kind of pick up on it. I think he kind of knows maybe from the start.
Yeah. There's like little hints here and there. Yeah. And, but then there's also certain ways he reacts to certain things that sort of maybe suggest that maybe he doesn't know. But then it could also be due to his sort of own sort of drug-induced stupor that he's kind of become accustomed to because he's depressed, so naturally he's sort of descended into a state of like steroid usage. And he's involved in like a volunteer firefighter team. And yeah, the film it starts to sort of just drift into like this dreamy, slipstreamy type of style where like you have like him navigating, like trying to like figure out the situation with him and this lady who's adopted his son's personality or persona or whatever. You have these people at the station and kind of how like he's relating this mysterious stranger to them. You have these like this the dance scene in particular where like you have just like these two worlds kind of existing, and like you have like the father who's still like grieving and even like suicidal, and then meanwhile she's also having to hide the fact that she's pregnant as well, which is something that obviously like her son like probably like wasn't capable of doing. But there is like one scene where you kind of like you see like one picture of his son, he's like this boy dressed up like a girl, so maybe like there's like that question, but you never really quite find
Yeah.
out.
And
Yeah.
like just by happenstance too, she puts on that same dress. And
Yeah.
and then like he says he like takes out the picture and shows her. I was like, I knew it was you. And
Yeah,
she just got lucky in my opinion.
exactly. And like, and at some point there even comes a point where she starts to sort of push back a little bit, and he kind of doesn't let her. He kind of like sort of traps her a little bit in a weird sense, although it's a little bit more psychological. Like it's not like he's trying to like be brutal about it or anything like that. It's more just she recognizes the fact that he's like lost, and that like he's kind of dependent on her now, but she also is like assuming this identity and all this other shit, and she's also dealing with the complications of her pregnancy, which naturally, since she's giving birth to a little titanium baby creature thing.
I was wondering what was going to come out. If it was going to be just a car, because she's like, like it's, pregnancy stuff instead of like, lactation. It's motor oil coming out.
Oil, yeah, it's coming out of her crotch, and she's in a lot of pain. It's cutting through her belly. It's all kinds of gross. It's awful. Like it's like the pains of pregnancy. Are definitely certainly on display here. I guess you could say,
and sped up too.
Like, yes, it happens a lot faster, and then eventually it just reaches the climax where eventually she gives birth, and of course tragically she dies in the process. And this guy who she's pretending to be the child of, he basically like helps deliver the baby and cradles it in its arms. It's just this really beautiful, like moving scene where like, because over the course of the film, she's already lost and screwed up beyond all reason. She's just kind of, like a lost soul who's like a floating disembodied head who's assuming this identity for her own circumstances. But for him, he's actually somebody who's like really truly lost somebody and doesn't know what to do, and is like desperate to kind of reclaim what it was that was gone. And at the end it just kind of brought all that to like the perfect crux. And I was so like I was just so moved by it, and I really loved that film like a lot. Like it's just one of those films where like I sat through it. It felt like such a serious like experience, and I was just left feeling so many different thoughts and emotions. And yeah, it's why I see movies, to have those experiences. So
Nice.
yeah, so that's my number one.
Yep. Okay. My number one is a bit of a cheat. I did mention that I might put a series on it. It okay. It is Midnight Mass.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that works, honestly.
It's a because it is just a one-off series. It's not like a continuing series. It's a whatever they call those mini series. Yeah. Yeah, but it's only like it's like 6 to 8 episodes, so it's just like a Lord of the Rings extended cut, whatever. Fits in
That's
my
all right.
book. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Have either of you seen it? So
No, not yet.
so I guess I won't get too far because it is I recommend it so well and like it's just so good and I don't want to like and I won't spoil it for this at all. So I'll just give the brief rundown of it's about the main character who in the beginning of the like the first episode, first scene, he gets in a drunk driving accident and happens to kill somebody during it, and he's locked away for a few years. He was a very successful guy, just a business, I forget exactly what, but he was really successful doing all that partying lifestyle of a successful businessman. But after doing this, spending time in prison, he lost everything. He's not going to be able to get a job due to his background now.
Right.
So he has to move back to his family's his family, which is on it's an island off the coast of Washington State or something, or Oregon. It's just one of those
Yeah,
two.
whichever.
I get those two confused, but it's that same. It's northwestern. It's just it's a random tiny island with a few hundred inhabitants. It's like it's like nothing's happening. Everyone's stuck there. Mostly fishing people. And then it's heavy religious tones, if you could probably guess from the title. Which is something I'm always interested in. Like that's why one of my favorite bits of The Mist, which I generally cite as my favorite movie. It has a lot of those themes of just religious zealots going nuts, and that's not even the horror. Well, it is part of the horror part, but like I don't want to spoil like the actual cool shit.
Yeah.
But there's that. And then he has like this nihilistic kind of attitude about what is life, and there's some beautiful monologues between him and his, like, I don't know, she like high school lover kind of. They grew up on that island. She came back because of wanting to just come back, help her mother out.
Yeah.
No, not even her mother. She just came back and just to live a different life than what she was doing. She became pregnant. She wanted to come back and do all that kind of stuff. And
yeah,
they have a deep conversation about what is, like, one of my favorite scenes is just a long 20-minute like back and forth dialogue between their differing views of what is life, what happens when you die, and it's just amazing. Like it is a slow burn type of film, like series for sure, until like the end where it pays off as in fucking dividends. But and like even like my theming of like horror and stuff too, like the actual monster is awesome. Like it's perfect. I loved it. It's so good.
I like the director.
Yeah, he does some great shit. Yeah.
I'm
actually interested to see. He did Ouija 2.
Oh yeah.
And it has better it's like it has better reviews than the first one, and they actually say it's good because of him, because I guess he got pretty full reign of what he wanted to do with it. He's like, I don't want to do this, but if I have to do this, I'll do
Yeah.
it my way. It's
He
actually, I've
Suicide
heard.
Squatted it, or no, he the Suicide Squatted it.
Pretty much, yeah. And it's apparently pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I want to see it.
Yeah, and
I
this was like his baby project too. Like even
Oh,
before
excellent.
the haunting
Yeah.
of film, like they even have a little bit. They have like little snip clues. Like there's like in one of them, someone's holding a book of the Midnight Mass. So
Okay.
he's been working on it for a while, and it's a delicious movie.
I'll definitely
Or
watch.
not, I mean, delicious series, I guess, but
Yeah.
pretty much a movie in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, honestly, like miniseries in my view count as movies. Like I feel like I've put a miniseries on a list. I think I put The Pacific on a list, and I think I almost put I think I might have almost put that We Are Who We Are series on one list. I don't, but yeah, I'd say miniseries should count. So in the future, we'll rectify that. We'll say miniseries count.
Yeah, it's
And
just an
It
extended
all
cut.
works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like just boom, yo, miniseries count, y'all.
Hmm.
All right, Midnight Mass. Well, these were pretty solid lists, gentlemen. I pretty much said all my honorable mentions throughout the episode. So
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
I'll quickly blast out some.
Oh yeah.
Well, Judas and the Black Messiah, I think I mentioned, but again,
Yeah.
that was a weird one. One I was the number 10 I was gonna put for, and I mentioned earlier for the locale was Werewolves Within.
Oh, that's
Oh,
good.
nice.
That's,
You saw that one?
yeah.
Yeah. Did
I
you
wanna
see it,
see that.
Tristan?
Not yet.
It's like an comedy. It's a horror comedy that's technically based off a video game, actually,
Yeah.
that Ubisoft put out, but it's which is just a video game version of that social party game Werewolf.
Yeah.
Or Mafia, the two in the same
Right.
kind of thing, and it plays out that same way too. It's like, like I didn't really look. I knew it was based on a game, but then I
Right.
started saying, wait, Werewolves Within. They're trapped. They're all kind of, it's a who done it, who's the werewolf. It's like,
Yeah.
wait, is this? I paused halfway through to look up the game further. Like, oh, okay, this makes a lot more sense now. It is
Yeah.
because it felt so much like it's like people just playing that game.
That's so
Um,
funny. And then suddenly you weren't confused anymore.
Yeah, yeah, and it takes place in Vermont.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Always happy to hear.
Yep. Last Night in Soho,
Okay.
Candyman.
Oh, by the way, did you like Last Night in Soho? Because
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
okay. I had mixed feelings about it. I think
It wasn't great, but I liked it.
Have you watched it yet, Zach?
Not yet.
Okay. We'll wait to talk about that one. But I'm glad you liked it, Nick.
Yeah.
I would probably like it if I watched it again. So.
I don't know when I watched this. It may have been even further back. Kid Detective.
Oh yeah, you talked about that on the show once, and
I think I must have. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if it
you
was this
did.
year or not, but yeah, it's a
You
2020
did.
film, so
Yeah, whenever you did, I do remember you brought it up, and I did watch it based on your recommendation, and I
Nice.
really liked it a lot. Actually, it was really good. Like,
yeah. I'll say two more. Just a couple words on these ones. The Medium.
okay.
It's a Thai horror film.
Yeah,
I watched it last night. It took me a while. I ended
Wow.
up at like 3 a.m. finishing it. But
yeah,
it's like a mockumentary horror about it's kind of like The Exorcist meets Blair Witch.
yeah.
So it's like an Exorcist movie, mostly about possession,
cool.
demons, exorcism.
Okay.
Follows like a medium, and it's through the lens of a documentary.
Yeah,
And it's good. It was actually real creepy and scary and shit. Like there are a couple jump scares, but they work.
yeah,
It has the typical kind of grudgy little girl, creepy demon crawling around.
yeah. And jump scares, they can work. They just have to
Yeah.
pay off. Like they can be done well. It's just most of the time they get abused.
Yeah, and the way they do it too is, since it's a documentary, they hide some cameras around her house because she's getting out causing trouble, and so kind of
You
she's
said it's
like
called The Medium?
the medium. Yep.
Okay.
And yeah, that's just really good. And then like it just devolves into like the camera, like I don't sure. No, I'll just let you finish or watch it, but I'll just say it's
Okay.
the crew does take a part in the movie too, so that was fun.
Nice. All right. Excellent.
And then just the
Oh.
last quick one.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something before that, or
I was just going to quickly say one I didn't mention. If you want to see a good performance, I recently watched Red Rocket.
oh shit, I was gonna see that one today, but it
Yeah.
was a little too long. I would have cut
Yeah, I mean,
into this. Yeah.
there's not really much to say about the plot. It's kind of another one of those movies about like just sort of like screwed up poor people. I mean, Sean Baker's, a lot of his movies tend to be about that type of thing. But Simon Rex does a really good job in the lead role. Honestly, like he kind of makes the movie like worth watching. Like he's kind of what
Yeah.
propels it.
I really wanted to see it for this, but I just couldn't fit it in.
Yeah, it's really good.
Alright.
I liked it. Mostly, like I said, for the performance. Like if you like the Florida Project and Tangerine, I wouldn't say it's as good as those, but it was still it's worth seeing.
Or 824.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick. The Last Duel. I liked it. Almost
Mm.
put it on the list, but had
Yeah.
to include it. And then one other thing was the Mads Mikkelsen I mentioned earlier, Riders of Justice.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
I
I've heard of it.
The thing is, it was good, and like the reason, so it would have been a good movie for us to watch on our main feed, like, but I wouldn't have ever recommended it because I thought it was gonna. I mean, it is good,
Yeah.
but it's just also so strange. Like it's two different movies basically in one. It's a revenge flick, but also a comedy, a weird out of place comedy. Mads
Yeah.
Mikkelsen, his wife and daughter, I believe, even no, his wife dies in just this accident, this train accident. And it's implied that it was a mafia kind of hit because there was going to be some testimonials that a snitch was going to be on that was riding on the same train as his wife, and the train the train gets into an accident. So people think, and he thinks that it was a mob hit, and that he wants to go get revenge on these mobsters.
Yeah.
So there's that, and it's also, and then there's the comedy of like these kind of nerds that are doing analytical shit. That get fired from their jobs. One of them's on the train, but like only like it gets like sliced in half, the train basically, and he lives, and he feels guilty because he gave up his seat for his wife to sit down.
Okay.
So he hunts out Mads Mikkelsen and kind of says, I think he gives the idea that it was the hit.
Yeah.
So I'm explaining it way too much for something that I just want to finish up real quick, but I'll say that, yeah, it's some cool fights, but it's also weirdly funny and just out of place. And some, like, they'll have some real straight up, like, intense, serious dialogue punctuated by a fucking comedy line at the very end. That's just so out of place. And it's like, I was like, what the fuck is that for? And there's also, it's another Denmark movie.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of jokes that just even just fly over your head, like straight up referential jokes that I didn't get.
Yeah.
And there's like two endings to it as well. So I honestly believe, in my opinion, that it was like possibly shot for two different, like, we're going to make this movie one way or the other. Like, it's either going to be this action comedy or this revenge movie. But
Oh,
they just kept
God.
it all. They just kept it all in, cut nothing out, and put it out because there's two endings. One's serious and dramatic, and one is hilarious and fucking stupid.
It sounds
And
really
it's
strange.
and it is, and it would have been a great movie to do on the show, but it was like it was on my radar, but it looked good, so I couldn't have like
You're like,
necessarily.
maybe I'll check it out, and then it ended up being something different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good though. Yeah.
Well, can't be too bad if it's got him in it, I guess. But,
Yeah, and that's about it for me.
okay. What about you, Zach?
Let's see. We had Psycho Gorman,
Oh, yeah, Psycho. That was funny.
gory Power Rangers, basically.
Yeah, with the crazy, crazy girl.
Yeah. Let's see, Malignant. I enjoyed that.
I did. Too.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yes.
funny.
Yeah.
Had a Black Friday. It's like a zombie movie set on Black Friday. With
Hmm.
Bruce Campbell, Michael Jai White.
Oh shit.
Sounds pretty funny.
Yeah.
All right.
Raging Fire, Benny Chan's last movie
Oh, okay.
with Donnie Yen.
Yeah. Was that was good?
Yeah, it was a little long, but still pretty
Okay.
good.
All right. Yeah, I was curious about that.
The Last Matinee, slasher that takes place in a theater, is pretty fun.
Oh yeah. I did actually I did see that one. That was I forget when I saw it. But yeah, that one actually was really cool. The effects in it were like pretty gnarly. Like they were pretty
Yeah.
old school. But like the whole thing with the eyeballs and stuff, like yeah. That was good though.
I think the rest we already mentioned.
Yeah. But it was like various things. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that about does it. I think we've listed the films that we dug from last year.
Anyone
Hell yeah.
got a worst?
The Scary of 61st was pretty awful.
Oh, okay, I bought that one.
Oh, you did?
I haven't watched it yet, but
I mean, you might like it, but
I don't know.
honestly, pretty bad. Like it's hard to explain why it's bad. Like I could try to explain it to you, but like it wouldn't make sense unless you saw it. Like, because I could just say like, oh, it's cheap and poorly made, but like but it's not really even that makes it bad. It's more just like just how uninteresting. I don't know. You'd have to see it to understand. It's just frustrating. Nothing happens until like the last 10 minutes, and the ending I've seen in like a million other movies. Like, yeah.
I
don't know.
Mine would be Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, I would agree. That one was pretty down there for me. So.
Mine was one called Hell on the Shelf. If you see the poster, it looks like it's a killer like toy elf movie.
Cool.
It was nothing like that.
Oh,
It was like a found footage, like ghost hunters type movie. Nothing to do with an elf, basically.
geez.
It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Oh, man.
Shit.
I wouldn't even make you guys watch it on the show. It's that bad.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Well, I've been tempted to choose a few that look pretty bad, but part of me almost wants to choose that movie Karen at some point, but I don't think I ever will, just because I don't know. I've heard nothing but terrible things about it. So, and I don't know. I kind of want to try that. I kind of want to find movies that like could be bad, but also could be good. Like, that are like maybe have low ratings, but then you look at how many people have rated it and it's only like 14 people or something. It's like, maybe those 14 people don't know shit. You know, those are the kind of movies I'm gonna try to dig up. I think. Oh, and speaking of which, I guess maybe we should probably talk about our choices for the next time we gather around to record a podcast episode.
Yeah.
So do either of you guys want to go first, or should I go first?
You can go first, sure.
All right, I'll go first. All right, I don't know anything about this one. It's from 1997. It's called Love God.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know anything other than I know enough to know that I have to see it. And that's all really I have to say. It's on YouTube.
Okay. Mine, I'm gonna do Nothing But Trouble.
Oh, goody.
I haven't seen it yet, so
Oh, all right.
I've
Alright.
just, yeah, it's kind of notorious.
Yeah. Heard of it for sure.
Yeah, I've seen that one. But I'll watch it again for you guys. Dan Aykroyd's in it, so
Oh, nice.
yeah. So get your Dan Aykroyd hard hat on, you know.
That guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is a 1987 movie called Uninvited.
Uninvited. Okay. Cool. 1987. All right.
Because I think there are a few uninvited movies, but
But this one is in particular is just titled Uninvited.
yes.
Does it happen to have a cat on the poster?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, I like movies about cats.
I think Vinegar Syndrome put that one out.
Oh, really?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Now I'm a little nervous. No, I actually do. Like the thing about Vinegar Syndrome is that like their movies, they're never quite what you expect them to be. Like you watch them and you think they're going to be something, and then they do something different. You know?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's for the better, and then sometimes it's for the worse. So we'll see. All I know is that this won't just be a movie about a cat. There's going to be a twist. I just don't know what that twist will be yet.
We'll see.
Oh, goodness. Well, in the meantime, okay, so Uninvited from 1987. Love God from 1997. And wait, what was the one you chose?
Nothing But Trouble.
From 1992?
91.
1991. Tupac Shakur's film debut.
Oh,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't even know he was in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Oh yeah. He definitely. Yeah. He's got a role. So. I'm actually kind of. What?
I've always been curious about this one.
Yeah. I'm actually sort of stoked to rewatch it. Like this, because I want to know if it's as bad as I remembered it being. You know. I'm very curious. Like. Yeah. All right. Well, until next time, I hope you enjoyed our jam-packed episode of A Couple of Flicks. And yeah, we shall see you all later. Have a good night.
have a good one.
See ya.